Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Themis and Thoth. Grab your coffee, water, tea. So I should not be here today. If you are here, thank you. This is a members only live, and I don't. So I've been trying to figure out how to do members only when I go live on what do you call this thing? Like StreamYard? Because in the back of YouTube, like I can do it, but like on YouTube, like when I go through StreamYard, I all right. 1 second. Let me see if this works. By the way, I don't think it's going to be messy or anything like that, but like, I don't want. I want. Yeah, so StreamYard only has public, unlisted, and private. And like, they don't have members only. So I'm going to have to quickly, in like probably 20 minutes, I'll remind me to make it unlisted, and then I'll post the unlisted link to members. I don't know how to do that. I'll figure it out the next time I'm live. Anyway, I should not be here. I was out of town, and my friend bought a ticket. I thought it was the ticket to where we went, and then a flight to my family home. But they bought a ticket to where we went and then a ticket back. So here I am. I shouldn't be here right now because I should be prepping with my family to go do some things. But it is what it is. It is what it is. So here we are. I appreciate you all so much for being here. My Discord and I are having an argument, and I need you all to help me resolve it before we get into what we're going to talk about today. So I think the three most beautiful women in the world, the three most beautiful women in no particular order. And I actually wouldn't know how to rank them because you don't rank women, whatever. All right. So it is Ryan Destiny, Justine Sky, and Manon. Manon from Cat's Eye. Manon is like the lead singer, lead dancer, lead vision. Let me stop playing in people's face. I think those are the three most beautiful women in the world. It is what it is. Now, obviously, there is, what's her name? Halle Bailey and what's that with my hair girl? With my hair back and forth. With my hair. The with my hair girl. I don't remember her name. I think they're like obviously beautiful, but like they're like ethereal. We're like, regardless of how pretty you are, once you stand beside them, all they have to do is smile, right? And when Holly and like Willow Smith smile, it's just like they're just otherworldly in my mind. So anyway, in my head, the three most beautiful women are Justine Sky, Destiny, what's her name? Destiny something, Ryan Destiny, and Manon. Okay, Manon is mid. You're a hater. You're a hater. So this this doesn't mean much, but I saw a picture and I thought it was Manon. And to me, this is very Manon coded. I was like, oh, okay. I thought this was Manon. And who is Manon? All right, let me show you who Manon is. I'll show you who Manon is. This is Manon. That is Manon, right? So I went on Instagram and I saw this picture and I thought this was Manon. And people are like dragging me in the Discord like I'm out of pocket. Please tell me that you see this. Please tell me that you see like this is giving to me this is giving Manon. And like y'all play too much. Who's saying Willow? No. I don't. Willow is not in. Willow and Holly. Willow and Holly are just otherworldly in my mind. Like they're just like there are certain people who are just like otherworldly. Like this looks like Glorilla. It is Glorilla. Someone said, I'm gonna accuse Steam. Accuse me of it. Accuse me of it. What are you gonna accuse me of? I'm not. Y'all don't see Manon here. Y'all don't see this as Manon. Like, they don't look exactly alike, but like I never realized Glorilla and Manon favor each other. No, wait, you're blind. All right, so y'all just don't see it. Someone said Manon looked like Tyla. Manon does not look like Tyla. Look, it's giving. They look exactly alike to me. So anyway, I'm gonna go back to the Discord and tell them that the chat agrees with me. A little. All right, good. Wait, y'all don't see it. Oh my god. Someone said, Tyler, you production inquiry, you're a hater. It's giving. Let me find. You're a hater. Let me, Tyler and Manon. They took a picture together. Here they are. You're a hater. These two girls look nothing alike. These two girls look nothing alike. These two girls look absolutely nothing like. Not there is no similarity. There are zero things that these two women share. These two women look nothing alike. All right. So now that we're on the issue of skin tone, now that we're on the issue of skin tone, let's actually get into what we're talking about today. So my Discord wanted me to sit with y'all and do a members live where you all can come up and we gonna discuss the Oli and Friends. My issue is whenever y'all bring me an Oli and Friends, it's never because y'all love something. It's because you're mad at something and you want me to drag. So I doubt that's gonna happen, but let's see. They're both half African. Not even the same half. They look nothing alike to me. All right. So now that I was right and my Discord
the whole
was
conversation
incorrect,
online.
let's go back to Tyla and Tyla music not doing well. By the way, let me be clear. I don't think Tyla flopped. I think a lot of the discussion is like she need to hang it up, blah blah blah. I don't think that is true. I think like anyone, this is her dark night of the soul, right? One iteration of her dark night of the soul, how she metabolizes this and come back from it will determine how far she goes. And stuff like this makes it kind of, it is a reminder of like the Beyoncés and the Rihannas of how much work they put in to maintain their star power and maintain running the charts, right? It's not like one hit and you're in it, right? You have to continue to work and you have to be able to sell both the product you're selling and yourself as consumable to as many people as possible. So, like, it's not over for her. She will have to determine how far she wants to go, blah, 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 blah. Doc, wait, why are you laughing, Doc Knight? It is a good, wait. I don't understand. That's not shady. That's like, I feel like y'all don't just want to fight with me. I feel like y'all just want to fight with me. Apparently, her music isn't doing well. I mean, it sounds like the coloreds have to come together and push her. I feel like the coloreds have to come together and push her because apparently And here's the thing, you can't actually blame Black people, because I do think that, like, even if you look at hip hop, the main consumers of hip hop are white people, right? So, like, sure, Dopamine by what's her name, Normani, sold 12,000 in its first week, and I'm pretty sure it's pretty much all Black people who bought 12,000 copies of Dopamine. So even Normani did well, better than Tyla, but Normani was promoting an album where Tyla is doing an EP, so I don't think it's good to compare them. But I do feel like if she don't want the Blacks to buy her album, then I mean, all right. Can we talk? I rewatched the interview that Tyler did on the Breakfast Club. And let me be very clear. That girl ain't want to be there. That girl did not want to be there. She did not want to answer any question. There was a sense that she was better than the platform. And I said this before, and someone said, "Why do you say that?" And then I went to go watch, and as a body language expert, I got my degree in body language. I did not. It just felt like she didn't want to be there. It is what it is. I don't think Tyla has enough in the game for her to be a diva in any meaningful way, or for diva to be associated with her name at all. I think that there is a kind of humility that most people come into the game with, unless you're a man, which this patriarchal misogyny that exists needs to end. But when it comes to pop star, even men pop star, when it comes to pop star, they tend to be very humble, even if they're lying about their humility. Let me see. I am live now discussing. Here, I'm discussing immigration. I ain't ish. I ain't ish. Someone asked me, I told someone that they needed to be here to watch this because I want their take after I'm done. And I'm telling them that I'm discussing immigration. Anywho. And also, like, Tyla being the new it girl when no one is buying her album also kind of suggests to me that there is a superficial push for her. Now, Rihanna is a bad gal, Rihanna, but that was a transition. Rihanna came out with Music of the Sun. She was very kind. She was out here zipping it and doing it, doing one by one, even two by two, everybody in the club, something, something, something move. And she was out here doing it. And there wasn't this, it felt more organic, even though there was a huge machine behind her, right? So, anywho, we're not here for my opinion. We're here for me to respond to some of these opinions. I already watched like 10 minutes of this, and I can tell you that I disagree, and I think you all should disagree with any commentary that says Americans need to go learn more about other cultures. Here's why. Yes, we all should learn about each other's culture. That much is very clear. However, it is not your responsibility as a consumer where someone is trying to sell something to you for you to go do the buyer's beware caveat emptor when it comes to something that is very disposable, like music and art in this very specific sense. I disagree with anyone who is saying, well, maybe you should go learn more. No. If she was not ready, if this girl was not ready to explain herself in the American market, they should not be selling her in the American market, point blank, period. Anyone telling you anything else is lying. The idea around xenophobia is something that should be discussed. And I think it can be discussed in the context of Tyla, but you're going to have to prove this. You're going to have to prove that xenophobia is why Tyla can't sell while Rihanna is selling. You have to prove that, because ain't nobody gonna sit here listen to. And I'm talking from a very personal experience, because when I heard Water, I initially didn't like it, and then I saw the video, and I was like, "Oh, look at this! You better dip it and do it." And I bought into the Tyler project. I did buy into the Tyla project. I wanted her to succeed. It was a cute girl coming over, doing the water thing. I was like, okay, girl, period. And then ART. People pretend like I like the ART song too. Cool. And then I start hearing her talk about like being colored, and even her comparison to Rihanna. She was like, oh, I want to be bigger than Rihanna. And there's a kind of confidence that I think is good, but then there is a level of arrogance that comes in. And when you don't have your foot fully in the game yet, it looks a mess. All right, we're good. Cool. So I was never a Tyler hater. I just got really annoyed along the way, and then I checked out. I stopped talking about Tyler because I just checked out. I was like, I mean, if she makes it, she makes it. If she don't, she don't. I jumped off the Tyler train because ain't nobody got time. Like, honest to God, like I was like, I don't care. I mean, like for real, like I was like, I mean, I guess you can be bigger than, like, anyone can be bigger than Rihanna, and you should want the most and the best for yourself. And if you don't believe in yourself, who gonna believe in you? Like, you are minimally talented in terms of vocally. You are a good dancer, a really good performer, I think. But like in terms of vocal ability, it's like the bare minimum. So it's like, all right, girl. Period. All right, so let's do it. Bigger than who now, period. I might drop the link and we can come up and we can unwind some of the xenophobia if I hear it. But let's get to this clip. Let's get to the Oli and friends and what they had to say.
But do you think it would have just voted well to she would have just pandered to us? He is in America trying to sell a product right now. But from a marketing standpoint, wouldn't it have been more advantageous for her to be like, yeah, I'm black, who cares?
Asking her to pander, I don't know. I would challenge us to stop centering ourselves so much and to do some goddamn research.
They want to use people as proxy wars. Perception, though important, I don't know how I feel about people saying one's perception should now become their identity.
I wish we could understand that Black people all across the globe have been colonized, have been force-fed anti-Blackness, and so we all wield and weaponize it against one another. Keep talking so that no one would have the uncomfortable. I'm like, I know they ain't gonna say this back, and I don't want to put that pressure on them. So, but we want to be good panelists, you know.
Right. For some reason, I also thought you were talking to your audience, like you were only greeting your Black audience.
You know what's funny? I've actually seen this debate in the comments and not weighed in for my own safety, right? Because I saw.
Have you ever looked at yourself in a camera or a mirror and you're like, oh girl, that face AIDS? Yeah, like, I just looked at myself and I was like, wait, is this skin? Because I was out in the sun. I was like, is this skin really out here skinning? The skin better be skinning. Anyway, let's continue.
I'm having this fight when they were like, I don't understand why when they say hello, she says hello, beautiful Black people. They know she's gonna do it. She does it every episode, and they don't respond. And then someone was like, to be fair, I think she was talking to the audience, and then in pops a white Ole and friends watcher from the shadows, like, obviously she's not talking to the audience because not everybody in the audience is Black. I was like, whoa.
Let's reel it in.
And I was like, I thought I was like, oh, I don't see this. So
you come in and say, actually, I am.
I was like, we don't alienate people. So yeah, y'all gotta say it back.
No, it is a protein shake. I'm on my build a body workshop thingamabob. I'm trying to get big. I'm about to be traveling, and I've been creating these travel vlogs on my Instagram, and I just want to be able to do them with no shirt. And the body is bodying right now, so I'm just trying to get bigger because I'm still kind of skinny. I don't want to get too big, so I want all my videos on my Instagram to be me shirtless. So that's my goal in life, to have no shirt on my Instagram continuously.
now. So because it's
Okay,
y'all,
we're gonna
I'm
say it
talking
back
to.
forever.
That's the official position of the audience. So let me tell you why I've gathered you here today. Ash called me up and said, I have a song in my heart. I want to say, yeah, don't look at me and shake your head. Don't open your eye. You called me and told me I wanted to rant. I called you in the capacity of a friend. That wouldn't make sense for somebody who knows I have a show to film every Wednesday. So that doesn't make sense. She called me talking about, I really have a song in my heart about Tyla and how people talking about this. I said, I did see some YouTube videos about that come out. I can send a Google invite to you. Aaron will send you an invite for Olay and friends. You type up what you think this topic should be for the group. Yeah, this is a business, mom. Yeah, don't look like that. I talk to me in my free time. That's no predatory. This is a business. Call me on Thursday if you want to have a friendly talk.
That's hilarious.
So, Ash, like, why are we gathered here today? Dearly beloved.
Oh no, it's not the beach. Absolutely not. Nothing about the beach. I just want to be out here zipping it and doing it, even in the cold. Reporter Tyla, can you tell us more about the colored identity and what it means to you, Tyla?
We are gathered here today to discuss Tyla and the issues surrounding Tyla and the many issues surrounding Tyla. I don't know more than 2 songs from Tyla, but there is a problem. There is a problem within media right now where people just dislike her, whether it's valid or not. I feel as if it needs to be discussed, because at what point do we call a spade and realize that some of this is xenophobia? Like, I feel like a lot of this is xenophobia, and I think you allow.
All right, here's the progressive talk that I don't like. Oh my God. Let me, how do I members? I need to make this members. If you're in here, you'll be able to stay in here, but I'm going to unlist this because I think I'm going to have a problem. I think what I'm going to say is going to be a problem. I'm going to say it with my chest though. The progressive talk is kind of annoying to me, and it, like, just generally nowadays, because it's like, these people, not all, some, very clearly some. These people just make conclusions and then attach those conclusions to emotions as the basis for argumentation. Because one, you're going to have to define xenophobia and then explain how her failing in America is itself xenophobia. Right? And I'm not saying there isn't xenophobia. We saw people calling her an uppity, quote unquote, uppity African, right? That for me is xenophobic. At least that's a better argument to argue xenophobia. And I'm sure there are people who are xenophobic in their addressing of Tyla. But her not selling 4,000 copy of her mixtape the first week in the US, and the conversation about identity and the difference between colored in South Africa and in America, to flatten that conversation into xenophobia, it requires a lot of work. Like, you don't just say that and then expect everyone to come on board and say, oh yeah, it's xenophobia. But a lot of the progressive spaces don't challenge conclusion. They just accept the conclusion based on how they feel. Even if you feel it is right, there should be kind of rigor involved. And I don't feel like there's any rigor here. Like, explain yourself. Explain yourself, please. I found this on the explain yourself. My watch is looking it up. Nurturing Naz, thank you for being a member. So I know this is going to piss me off, this whole thing.
Out to say that you don't like Tyla. I think you're allowed to say that you don't like her music and you want to fan. But a lot of the things that people nitpick at, like straw man, like just literally straw man theory. And so that's all I called the line me for to say, because I was kind of frustrated. But that was it. And now you said it to everybody. You said it.
Well, let me start by saying, you could never make me hate Tyla, okay? Pushing all my buttons with no hesitation. I really enjoy her music. I think that she's very talented. I know that there's
give us one more song. I bet you he didn't buy the EP. I bet while he's sitting there saying, you could never make me hate Tyla, only less than 4,000 people bought that EP, and I promise you he ain't one of them. Push the start or whatever he was singing. I bet you he ain't bought that EP. I bet you he ain't bought that EP. So if Tyler fan's not buying the EP, who gonna buy the EP? If Tyler fan's not buying the EP, girl, to be fair, maybe he did buy it, but if he's one of the 4,000 people, I'm rounding it up. I'm rounding it up by 300. I'm giving her 300 more than she has. If he's one of the 4,000 people who bought it, that would shock me.
There's been a lot of conversation around, like this colored versus Black identity and things of that nature, and I think that has like driven a lot of the conflict that I've seen around her, and I do think a lot of it is xenophobia because a lot of folks don't really understand like the racial makeup in South Africa, I guess. But what I also think is true is that a lot of people do understand that as well, and have, I think, very valid critiques of the fact that she is someone who is in the States, and the States has a very different relationship to race and to Blackness that I feel like she's spoken about. But also, at the end of the day, all of us are calling ourselves by some type of like colonial descriptor, right? Color being a descriptor that comes from apartheid in South Africa. We're using Black as folks who exist in a very colonial state of the world, and so for me, it's just like I don't know how she decides how she's going to show up in the States, and I feel like a lot of folks do have a lot of xenophobia around that. But for me, I'm just like.
So you said no. Oh my God, this is so frustrating. These people are saying absolutely nothing. By the way, we live under colonialism. Colonization happened, so like our language is colonial. It is based on colonization, and it might be xenophobia. Why the discussion might have what you like. All right, girl. Period. Good. Yeah. You're right. Yeah.
Like, girl, the music is a hit, and as long as you're making good music, I really don't give a fuck.
I feel like I love Tyla. Whenever I hear her music outside, I enjoy it. Also, the women I be with be enjoying it too, so I'm happy. But I do think the biggest issue is that I think when initially confronted about her South Africanness and like being colored on Breakfast Club, which is not the best platform to do things, she didn't respond well, and then her media team was like, "Don't answer that."
Didn't respond
I do think for me,
because it wasn't initial. To be fair, it wasn't initial. It had already been a thing online where she's been like act with these like bad faith. Like, let me be clear, because I remember when that was on my still chronically online on Twitter days, and I remember initially it was presented, it was all over the timeline as though she was calling herself colored because she did not want to identify with Black. Because I remember tweeting being like, that's a bad choice. Like, that would bite her. You know what I mean? If that is the case, that will bite her in the long run. It's better off in her case if someone trying to be marketed to the United States or, get an audience there, it's better for her to be Black anyway. It don't make no sense. You're only going to ostracize people. But I realized quickly that's not even what happened. The gal is just colored based on that's what she is in the country that she's in. And so that had already been a thing. So by the time, let's be honest, as somebody who, has been on the Breakfast Club and also like Charlamagne and them, have a good relationship with them, they asked that to be messy. They didn't ask that.
I don't know if they asked it to be messy. Don't care if they asked it to be messy. The conversation about Tyla's identity as colored or Black was happening way before she went on the Breakfast Club. It was happening way before. In fact, it was said, Charlamagne came out and said her PR team told them that they could not ask her about being colored. And Charlamagne was like, absolutely not. I'm still going to ask. And then she just looked like, no, absolutely not. How is that provocative? At all. Just tell us what you are and when I got time. And yes, you have an obligation to do that. If the people are asking and you want to buy, if you want us to buy into what you're selling, we have questions. It is what it is. Black people in the U.S. hold the most wealth via disposable income on the planet. She moved to the U.S. She lacks relatability. Her team needs to be revamped. Agreed. I think it's her problem. They're trying to make it thank you, by the way, the ultimate. They're trying to make it an American problem, and it's really not. The people just didn't buy her album, girl. It ain't that serious.
Yeah, they know why they asked that.
EP.
And so just instant thought was, No, and also as somebody who's also been on the Breakfast Club and seeing someone's handlers behind them try to stop it and they wouldn't stop it for their ego, like it could go worse. You know what I mean? Like what had happened? Like okay, yeah, it looked bad, like she didn't answer, but then she was able to go online and explain exactly whatever. Like it could have gone worse. She could have answered and then like had to deal with like Jess Hilarious and Charlamagne and them stumbling through. You know what I mean? Like
Imagine them talking about
I
apartheid.
heard and whoop out. And, like, that's what I'm saying. Like imagine what would have happened. We're not thinking of
A reminder that Beyonce and Destiny's Child interviewed with Wendy Williams while they were coming up. And Wendy Williams kept calling them Beyonce and the girls. Wendy Williams said, yo, there is a special place. Let me leave that alone. Wendy Williams was terrible. And they went and they answered the question. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time to be sitting up here talking about she didn't feel safe. Ain't nobody. Then don't go on the show. Don't go on the show. Like, what do you mean? You can answer questions about your identity, even including pushback. That's the problem.
all the possibilities.
But do you think it would have just voted well, like fared well for a career in the long run, and she would have just pandered to us? She is in America trying to sell a product right now. So I do think.
Also, I wish. So this guy's the one I agree with the most right now, but he does not commit to. I don't know if it's fear. I don't know what it is, but he is unwilling, absolutely unwilling to commit to anything that he's saying. He provides the pushback in such a meaningless way that if you're not really listening to him, like you don't know what he's pushing back on, and when confronted, he just backs down. Like maybe he's not comfortable arguing with them, but you can tell that he's not on Tyla's side right now, but he's just not willing to like push the argument that you're here to sell a product. You now need to sell a product.
On press runs, that's a lot of what press runs are. We're just trying to sell myself, trying to sell my product. I'm trying to be the most likable version of myself. Like from a marketing standpoint, wouldn't it have been more advantageous for her to be like, yeah, I'm black. Who cares? In my country, I'm this day, but I'm in America right now. I'm black.
No, sir, it would not be advantageous because she's not black. Like, I don't know why you're no, still more in alignment with him. But no, she's not black. Just explain yourself. And if you don't know how to explain yourself and you don't understand American culture, then maybe you're not ready to be a part of the American market. Like that's the calculus you could make, that Tyla is too young and she does not fully understand the culture she wants to be a part of. Therefore, she is not ready to attempt to penetrate the American market. That is a legitimate position. Don't do it.
Go on, sorry, go on.
As somebody who, I was literally having a conversation today with a dear friend who was very frustrated with me because he was speaking on how different mixed race Black women identify and whether or not it's okay for them to identify a certain way, and was litigating it. And so as someone who's mixed race, and when I step into spaces, I often allow people to identify me out of like, you know what, I know I'm Black, but I understand that that's triggering for other people. Do your thing, whatever. It's also extremely frustrating to have to do that and to feel like that's a necessity in order to be cognizant of your privilege, to be cognizant of all of the, isms around your existence. And so asking her to pander, I don't know. I would challenge us to stop centering ourselves so much and to do some goddamn research and to act. And maybe I do agree that it was a missed opportunity for her. I don't know if she was fully prepared to explain why colored is the way that she identifies. I think that she's been in the limelight for quite some time now. So media training hits different. She has probably some new tools in her tool belt. And that's obviously...
Okay, so what you're saying is she wasn't prepared. She wasn't prepared, but it's everyone else's problem. She was not prepared to talk about her identity in the US. And it is everyone else's problem that she could not explain her identity, to understand her identity when she's the one trying to sell us something and not the other way around. How did that make sense? Like, I'm sorry, how did that make sense? Like, I know for a lot of people, it's easy to like blame the stronger, whatever, the people with more privilege, blah, 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 whatever. Sure, fine, whatever. But how does it make sense that you are the one trying to sell something to a market and you don't know how to explain your identity? And these people are sitting here, this one in particular, saying that it is our responsibility to go do research to understand someone who is trying to sell us something so that we can buy the thing there. No, that is too much work. It is. As consumers of pop culture being the key word, nah, that is the most you are going to ask, and ain't nobody going to do it. You now need to buy. You are the one who is going to create this parasocial relationship. You are the one who is going to make this intimate. You are the one who is going to sell your personality. That is you. That is all on you. It is not that you are giving us anything life-saving. So no, we don't gotta buy it. Like, what do you mean? Like, oh my God, it's on you to no, it's not no, it's not on me to do nothing. It's not on anyone in the US to do anything. If you're trying to penetrate the market, it's on you to get the product together and sell it. And then your own identity, unfortunately, is enmeshed with your music, and now you gotta sell that too. And I didn't miss the fact that she was like, whatever you call me in whatever space, I'ma just go with it. Oh, okay, cool. Good for you. Must be nice. Must be nice. Must be nice to be whatever you want, whenever it's convenient for you. That's not what she said, but that's how I interpret it. Period. You go off, sis.
I won't say obviously that space, the Breakfast Club itself, doesn't feel like the safest space to actually have that conversation.
Ain't nowhere safe, girl. Just tell us who you are. Don't go on the Breakfast Club if it's not safe. If you're not about to answer the question, don't go on there. Like, what do you mean? But I do actually agree that the Breakfast Club is probably annoying below her, whatever, all of that. She went on there. Did you see Amanda Seales versus 20 Conservative? Will you review it? I can do another membership live, probably when I get back in town. I can do it. I do want to, but Amanda Seales annoy me, and I don't like watching Jubilee because they have really chip away at political discourse in a way that I find very troubling. Like, I think when we start equating Nazi ideas to like legitimate part of political conversation, I think we've fallen way too far. And Jubilee is an entertainment platform. It is not to bring people together. It is just there to cause chaos, in my mind. But also on Amanda Seales, she is so toxic to like insofar as she'll sit there and talk about who she will never talk to, and she's not going to talk to Candace Owens. That's beneath her. But you all up on Jubilee talking to 20 Conservative. Ain't nobody I mean, look, I guess how low have we fallen? But I don't know if I'm going to review it. I don't know what to do.
I will say I rewatched Charlemagne, and I did hear him say, ask, school us on that, educate us on that, which he presented it in a way where it's like, put us on the game. Her team, though, however, had already given them questions where they were like, do not ask about this. And of course, they wanted to ask about it. And there's a reason why. And I don't think it's because she's anti-Black. I don't think it's because she's anti-anything. I think it's because she's a young girl figuring it out, trying to be marketable to everybody with a whole lot of ears, or excuse me, a whole lot of voices in her head telling her what to do, what not to do. At this point, she's a product. She's not even a human being. She's a machine within capitalism making the money. So she very clearly clamped up and turned around with confidence, where she's like, I'm not going to be the bad guy. Y'all got it. And I don't have a problem with that. I really, it's exhausting for folks here in America, Black Americans, to have such a disconnect to the.
Anyone using the word tither should be blocked. No, absolutely not. Yeah, no. I need to add some more moderators. My bad, I completely forgot. I'll also do that when I get back.
Continent to have the diaspora wars makes me sick. The xenophobia makes me sick. And we have to start doing some real work on ourselves, in my opinion, and we have to read. Google is available. You know, you can figure out why she said it. And honestly, she
No, we can't figure it. No, she need to explain why she's like, why do people like I honest to God do not understand why they think the burden shift to the American public in this case. I don't know why they think the burden shifts to the American public in this case. You are selling us half-baked, useless music with voice not even up to par, and you think for her music and to get involved with her, we need to go do some work to understand. No, you better come and give us all we need. You're going to have to spoon feed the public that you want to buy what you're selling. What do you mean? That's on you. That's completely on. Any conversation happening like this is absolutely out of order.
even said she didn't want to say that she was colored because she understands that the United States has a history with that word and she wants to be sensitive, even though.
Well, also, this idea, and I've seen people doing think pieces on this, the term colored in the US is not that different. It is different because it's specific to Black people. But in terms of their history of racism, we're talking about South Africa. A term developed during apartheid South Africa, where there was a hierarchy being created, right? Where mixed people were differentiated. There was a separate class of people created that was in fact above, not just different from, but above Black people. All of these think pieces going on left, right, and center, it is absolutely wild to me that most of them ignore the fact that there was in fact a hierarchy, still is. And I don't care who identifies what, blah, 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 maybe colonialism. The first guy was talking about, colonialism. Let's talk about colonialism, stratification, and the hierarchy that was created. So no, don't just say, if you knew what colored meant in South Africa. No, it's not like Creole. How is it like Creole? Creole, anyway, fine, whatever. You actually, the actual physical makeup can be like Creole, so whatever. Creole was not Creole was not an identifier, not that I can think of, but I have to go into Louisiana and I don't know enough about Louisiana to make this verbatim. But this was a specific classification that could grant to you privileges that other Black people did not have. So yes, the history of being quote unquote colored is specific and different from being Black in South Africa, but it comes with very specific privilege historically and also in present day kind of social engagement. I know this because I also, for present day, I'm talking to Black South Africans in their engagement with what seems to be a very specific kind of colorism that also exists in South Africa in the way that it exists in the United States. So while we're out here like, oh my God, it's just colored and it's different from, it might be different from, but it has very similar mechanism. There is a hierarchy. You're not going to sit there and pretend. So even if people did go in and do the research for colored, I promise they don't come out feeling any better that she identifies colored than they do now. I actually think they might take it worse. Because at least colored was a disparaging word used against Black people in America, right? But in South Africa, it was a classification that gave privileges to certain people based on heritage. So we're not about to just sit here and pretend, oh my God, if you just knew, if you did some research, you would be better. No.
Oh, that is, if I'm not mistaken, colored is like a legal term in South Africa, right? Like you actually mark it off.
Her exact,
Yeah, it is. But
her exact,
Like
her exact statement was,
no, I just don't get it. I'm done.
She should have. What do you mean? What she should have? This is production inquiry. What part of answer the question do you not get? What part of answer the question do you not get? I don't care what she said. What part of answer the question do you not get? Please tell me. Because apparently, so some part of me saying, answer the question, tell people you are colored, explain what colored is. What part of that do you not get? What part of that is confusing? My position is that. So apparently, my position is confusing. What part of my position is confusing? What part of it?
And Dom, I'm not trying to push back. I'm just trying to offer like a different perspective of how
Oh, I don't believe the
exhausting
thing I
that
just
could
said.
be.
I would add in the conversation.
I love you.
I don't believe anything.
Come on, get
I
people going.
love that.
He said, I'm about to be provocative. You're
I
welcome,
love
LA.
that.
Tyla's exact statement.
I don't like Charlemagne. Let me be very clear. And he might have been messy, and that was him being messy, whatever. She should have answered the question. And to be fair, Charlemagne asking, "Oh my God, why is people hating on Tyler?" Not pretending like he doesn't know that he's a part of he's a part of the issue, right? So it's gonna always be forget Charlemagne, always. The issue though is there is a racial sensitivity, right? Tyler is aware of this sensitivity, right? And instead of confronting it, she goes into an interview telling them, demanding, but through her PR, what questions she will and will not answer. And when asked, she just kind of sidestep it to have her PR person respond. This is a problem in and of itself. But then to come back and write a note where the note, by the way, makes perfect sense, very well written. Why couldn't you have said that? Yes, there is a hierarchy, but does she feel superior? We don't know. What we do know is that she comes off, based on everyone assessment, arrogant. I actually think she's arrogant in the way that she shows up in the music industry, because there is supposed to be a humility. Now, one can argue that Themis, that's not arrogance, that's confidence. Football players, people do that. I'm going to say you're going to have to prove yourself before you have that confidence. So confidence unearned is arrogance to me. So when you say you want to be bigger than Rihanna, like that's good. I love that for you. Good luck. But when you come up, when you show up in the world as if you've already made it, that's also kind of good. But it's weird when you have not accomplished like any meaningful milestone. Like even the Grammy, when I'm thinking about all the awards she's getting and that she can't lift them, they're too heavy, whatever, I'm like, you know what? Give her a pass. Everyone is arrogant. In the entertainment, there's a kind of delusion that everyone has to have, in my mind, to be an entertainer. Like you know, most entertainers have to believe that they're larger than life, right? Yet there is a humility. There is a humility that has to come across in the beginning stages. Are you going to lead into that bad girl image and hopefully make it work? But in pop culture, in like the pop hierarchy, the girls at the top, even Taylor Swift, apparently she just sat outside signing everyone's record. She had these friendship bracelet. She's a billionaire. That girl don't care nothing about nobody, I believe. But she presents as if she's one with her crew. I mean, it is it is what it is. If you believe that she ain't gotta be humble and she should be that, fine, go buy her album. By the way, her arrogance was not the thing that rubbed me the wrong way. I was just like, I'm over it. I'm over it. Everyone is telling me she's the next Rihanna. Everyone telling me she's the next Beyonce. Everyone is telling me she's the next this, and I ain't seen it. So I was like, all right, yeah, that's cute. So humble colored girls, if that's what you heard, then period. If all of this is what, if that's what you heard from all of this, then period. Go forth. Humble colored.
that she put out after. She said, "You guys, I never deny my blackness. I don't know where that came from. I'm mixed with Black, Zulu, Irish, Mauritian, Indian, and colored."
I feel like you're not over it though. You stay talking about her. Oh, I'm not over the situation. I'm over her as an artist. Like, I'm not buying her stuff. Let me be very clear. I am very invested in the Tyla project insofar as the discussion around Tyla. When I say I'm over it, I'm saying, like you and everyone else in this chat who claims they're defending Tyla, who did not buy her album, who did not buy her EP, I'm in your boat. Like, Alexis, you know how you're like, oh, I feel like you're over it too. You are over it in the way that I'm over it, in that you didn't buy her EP. Drop a 1, Alexis, if you bought her EP. Because if you didn't buy her EP, you and I are in the same boat. We watch from a distance. Did you buy her EP? Did you? Were you one of the 4,000 people who bought her EP? Drop a 1, I'll wait. Did you? Did you buy her EP? So you and I are over it exactly the same way. Oh, no more. Yeah. I don't buy EP. See, so yeah, that's why she sold under 4. So you and I are exactly the same. We are over it. We're over her.
In South Africa, I would be classified as a colored woman. In other places, I would be classified as a Black woman. Race is classified differently in different parts of the world. I don't expect to be identified as colored outside of South Africa by anyone not comfortable doing so, because I understand the weight of that word outside of South Africa. But to close this conversation, I'm both colored in South Africa and a Black woman. As a woman for the culture, it's and not or. With that being said,
which brings me to my point that I don't think time was the problem. I think, as with a lot of people in the limelight, they turn into proxy wars. For people's discourse. That's what I think it is. Honestly, I'm so tired. I'm so tired and bored of it. I am, because it's just like this ring around the rosy of diaspora wars that happens all the time. All of it is if we really got to the nitty gritty, like Deshaun, you just said, all of it is fake and made up anyways to classify like it. You know what I mean? And it's hard for me. There was a moment where I just had to like remove myself from even having feelings about it, because it's so it seems like nobody, and by nobody I mean the greater society, wants to actually have like meaningful discussion to move past. They want to use people as proxy wars. I also find it, though I can understand the people's feelings like across the board.
All right, this is the most sense that I've heard this whole time. So the whole panel is projecting. I do actually believe that, and maybe I'm doing a little bit. I'm accepting this projection because I actually agree with her. I do think that Tyla is being used as a proxy war, like there might be a diaspora war going on or whatever. Fine. But I do want her to explain this, because I get it doesn't mean she doesn't have to explain it. So I do actually want to. I want to hear it.
I find it weird to tell folks how they. I have an iffy relationship. I have a weird relationship about the like telling folks how they like identifying is a very personal thing. Mm-hmm. It feels just sticky. It feels sticky to be like, because I perceive you this way, this is now your identity, and rather it being like, oh, I perceive you this way. Like perception, though important, perception though mattering as far as like how you interact with the world, how the world interacts with you, the intersections of privilege and marginalization, it matters. I don't know how I feel about people saying one's perception should now become their identity. Mm-hmm. And that's come from when in this discussion, I take a lot of my own personal experiences of traveling and studying abroad and being like someone across the diaspora, where I'm often getting called different diasporic identities. That was my own kind of like perception of myself. I had to ask those questions like, well, it doesn't mean that my identity is not the same just because I'm perceived this way. And other folks' perception of me does have some space in the discussion about how the world interacts with me. But I don't know if that can be conflated with identity.
That's such a great point.
I mean,
all right. I think identity, your individual personal identity is important, and also how the world perceives you is important. She said this, and who you are, at least socially, is a combination of the two. So I do agree with her. I think we might have different weight on whose perception, either society or your individual perception of yourself, which is also informed by society, is determinative. That balancing test is kind of hard to do. The problem, though, however, is regardless of how we come out, it doesn't move the conversation around Tyla in any direction. Like, I actually agree with her. Like, whatever, I thought that was a smart point. I actually really do. It does not move the conversation further. And we all project, so that's fine. What were her sales in South Africa? Let me look up her first week sales in South Africa, because I did not look that up. I did not look that up. Hopefully she did well. I'm hoping, because the thing is, I think people might think I want her to fail. I don't. Actually, I want her to be better. What was first week EP sales in South Africa? Let's hope she did well. South Africa does not track. I'm not going to Sony Music for no. Hopefully she did well.
Like, to Christina's point as well, like having to like assimilate or pander to, when I said, to pander to what someone else what box someone else thinks you should fit in. I think anyone that's been to South Africa or spent time around South African people, colored people literally have their own culture.
Mm-hmm.
Colored people have their own culture. They have their own music, their own language, like very specific ways in which they identify. Like, Tyla can show up in the Bahamas and she'd be a Black woman or a mixed woman, and in the States, yeah, okay, like maybe she looks Black. But in South Africa, being colored and mixed are two completely different things. They're absolutely two completely different things. And so for her to have to make a statement where she says it's and not or, that still feels almost that it.
Okay, she needs to be specific, because to be colored is to be mixed, and she's not. It is to be mixed. All right, girl, just go off. I don't. Whatever she's saying, fine. Whatever. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right.
Feels so dehumanizing in a way, because now she has to literally tear apart a literal thing in which, and keep in mind, she was, I think, 19 or 20 at the time. Who on this distinguished panel could have taught these? Who among us could have aptly, like, really described ourselves as fully embodied people? Like, who? Like, how? You know what I mean? Like, she was 19 at the time when she made that statement. And so you go from a place, you're known as, you are colored, your culture is colored, your family is colored, you're embedded in this thing, and now you have a group of people saying, you don't want to be Black, you're appropriating our culture in this way, you don't want to be Black. And you say, well,
I guess we could calculate the streams in sale, because I think you need 3,700. How much stream is a sale? Is an sale of, let me look. How is one unit? Right? Like, I'm pretty sure I saw this on Google somewhere. You need to download it. I ain't doing that math.
Can you give me an example of the ways in which I'm appropriating said culture? Because this girl has never changed her accent. She's always indicated that she wants to put modern South African music on the map. All right. She like, her music is Amapiano. She literally speaks in her mother tongue and if you go in any.
Okay, can we stop doing the whole the men are doing it? Because there are women. Thames is like one of the top African as a continent, not even a specific country, right? Artists. So no, again, flattening the discussion to just xenophobia is absolutely reductive to me. Like, just completely reductive, like useless. unless you're about to engage with the side of the internet that's calling people tethers, which you can, and uppity, whatever, yeah, you can. That is important. That is useful. But to flatten the entirety of the discussion to xenophobia is dumb. I think it's dumb. Yes, the kiss the ring with hot sauce. I mean, period. Not period.
Of the videos, whether it's Vogue, L, whatever, you have South Africans in the comments literally saying, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe she said that," like using her own version of slang. And I think a great thing that we honestly need to be able to discuss is there's this sudden wave in the past 2, 3, maybe 5 years. There's this sudden wave of mostly Americans telling other Black members of the diaspora how they should identify and how they should show up, and wielding Blackness as this privilege that they can give. That you are Black because I told you are Black. You are not Black because I told you are Black. And I think there needs to be an honest to God conversation on how American exceptionalism often transcends race.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that some of it is because Black?
So I don't understand that conversation, because I do think there is a issue around the monopolization of identity. And I don't know that I agree that African Americans tell people who is Black, and then I think it goes back and forth, right? I think it does. I do think that, like, we all project. And I think she might be talking from her experience being Black or with Black Americans and feeling like they're telling her what she is. And that's fine. And that's fine. That's her experience. I don't think this is true I think it is true insofar as we all do really toxic stuff to each other from different part of the diaspora. I think we just sometimes treat each other really badly. And I don't think Americans have a monopoly on treating other Black people poorly. I think we all do it. I think we all do it. Color equal race and culture, multi-gen of mixed people. Trevor Noah is Black, Tyla isn't.
Americans have been forced to assimilate to American culture, that now we see Blacks from across the diaspora come here and be like, you got to do what we did. You got to get in line. Do you think that's some of it?
I don't even think that's it. You know what I think it is? Because the myth that has been told is that Black Americans are the only sufferers of these kinds of atrocities. That's a myth. So when you talk about Black Americans feel as if others should assimilate in the ways that they have. To go to the Bahamas is so similar. The culture is so similar to being English. The Bahamas is literally a tropical England in the way we in our mannerisms, in our law, in the way that we.
Bahamas, Barbados, Jamaica, none of them is similar to the UK. Now, were they colonized by the UK? Absolutely. When I go to England and I go throughout the Caribbean, none of the Caribbean. So there are similarities, but to say it's an island UK is a nasty word. I know what you're saying, by the way. I'm just laughing just to laugh. But like, it absolutely not. But I do know what she's saying.
Speak to one another. We literally open meetings by saying protocol established. Protocol being established. Those are vestiges of colonization. And just because we don't have the same names as the things that Black Americans would have dealt with within America, we have our own versions of subjugation as Black people. But the difference.
Murder, this is not true. This I know for a fact. The Haitians think they're better than everyone else. Even as a child, I knew that the way that other Caribbean countries, pretty much every single Caribbean country, reference Haiti was absolutely diabolical. Like it is one. This is why in the initial stage when they were talking about, oh, Black Americans do that. No, we do it to each other because in the Caribbean, Haitian is an insult, kind of. Like even for Jamaicans, I don't think Jamaicans care enough. I think Jamaicans think they're better than everyone else generally, so they don't engage. But I think whenever I talk to any other person from any other Caribbean country, the way they speak on Haitian is actually disgusting. To be one of the first countries to like push back, I wouldn't say win because they're still paying back reparations, actually, Haiti to France. But to be one read and rebel and one, I feel like there should be a kind of respect for Haiti that I don't understand why we as Black people generally do not respect Haiti specifically. I don't know why, because whenever I read the story of Haiti, it feels like something, a point of pride for Black people and Black culture, but we just trash it. Like we absolutely trash it, and that is insane to me.
The very difference is the American part of Black Americans. Every member of the diaspora has had to learn what being Black in America is and learn that history. And there has never been a reverse of that. There's never been a reverse of that. We mentioned that Charlemagne said, well, school us. How often has a Black American had to go into a majority white space and be upset that they have to school white people about why certain things are microaggressions? And we're asking the same thing of another foreign perceived Black woman? Come on. Come on.
Yeah. Absolutely, sis.
Take a ride in the
I'm sorry, even for a Black person, if you're going into an all-white space and you are specifically, if Black people are trying to sell to white people, watch how they water down their content. Watch how they sanitize absolutely every aspect of what it is that they're selling to white people. If you're going to go find a market, you actually have to adhere to the principles of said market. Like I don't understand. Like I don't understand why people are confused by this very basic economic principle. And when you're supplying something that is not in demand, like you gonna have to bend. It is what it is.
comments and you ain't tell one lie.
Listen, that's what I was. I think it's so tricky because you know what? I'm so proud to be Black, right? I'm so proud of it. I cherish it. I'm grateful. There's no other space that I want to.
Well, I don't believe her. I don't believe her. Whenever someone, I am so sorry, I don't know this woman, did no disrespect to this woman, I'm actually gonna bail out. I'm not gonna finish my thought. I'm not gonna finish. You know, when somebody is saying things like this, it's very like, do you though? Because like, I get that you're saying it, but it's not giving. It's not giving. Let me leave her alone. Beautiful gowns, beautiful gowns, beautiful gowns.
The comments and you ain't tell one lie.
Listen, that's what I was. I think it's so tricky because you know what? I'm so proud to be Black, right? I'm so proud of it. I cherish it. I'm grateful. There's no other space that I want to occupy. I'm like, this is my.
All right. Which other space could you occupy in America? Tell us. There's no other space you want to occupy. Which other space could you occupy in America? Are we gonna pretend like you could occupy some other space in America? All right, girl, period.
Space, right? Also, I am so clear about how that construct is put there to limit us and to say, all of you are one thing. All of you are the same. And I don't need to get
Okay, so do you not like that construct? I thought you were love and proud and all of that, but then you recognize that construct is there to make you black when you don't think you're black. So, like, what is your opinion? Can you give me an opinion on the construct? Can you tell me if you like or dislike the construct that made you black? Oh, I have a problem now. I, I have a problem because you're saying one thing, but your explanation is giving something very different. It's giving- a period. The construct is white supremacy, the one drop rule that says you are black even though you are mixed. That is the construct she's talking about. And in her articulation, it feels, let me use the word feel very openly, that this is not factual because she might actually love being black. It feels like there is resentment from her end towards a construct that made her black. That's what it feels like to me. And if she has that resentment, I would stand by her. Fight for biracials' identity 2025. I stand with biracials who believe that they are not black. I stand with them. I don't think you should have to remove one of your parent. I don't think that's fair. I think that you should get to identify as biracial, particularly those who want to say, oh, I look biracial, period. Yeah, sure. Your mom is white or your dad is white. I don't think it's white for the people who raised you, had you, cared for you, whatever, that you have to say, oh, I am no longer a part of this person. I'm only, no, I don't agree with that.
I don't need to humanize you further than that. You're black. And that's that. You know, there's no space for nuance. There's no space for.
See, she said, I don't have to humanize you any further, just say you're black. So she feels like being humanized for her means also to engage with her other identity, which is not just black. Again, I stand with her, but when you say, oh, I'm proud to be black, this feels very contradictory to that. And to be fair, I do think biracials have a lot of conflict, let's call it. And I might be going too hard on her because I do think a lot of this might be her own kind of struggle. And so it's not fair to like expect her to articulate her position without the kind of confusion that comes with her own racial identity. No, I'm not saying she's wrong. Her mixed I think her saying I'm proud to be black and being here and then critiquing the construct that made her black is not a bad thing. I think it's nuanced and I agree with her.
Or just like.
So a lot of people said they want to open the phone line. Yes, I'll drop the link. Let me get halfway through this and then I'll drop the link. So people, if you are here and you can note something in like a notepad or like write it down for a second, I will open. I promise I will open the link thing. Because I did want to talk. I didn't want to like be up here by myself. So I'll drop it. I think a lot of people who are only for people who disagree with me.
Any kind of like even now, like what something that I was talking about earlier was like, well, what is black? We get into this notion of like what blackness is, what does it mean to be black? And of course we've had this conversation numerous times, but it's like it's not a monolith. And we say that when it's convenient, but we treat it like it is. You know, we gatekeep like it is. You know, if there is a Comic-Con black, he's different. He acts a different kind of way, maybe. You know, like, and so then when you have this other, you know, woman, South African colored woman come over and sing, because she can sing. First of all, she's incredibly talented, and sing and be a star.
Please, I would love for the coloreds to call in.
You know, she knows who she is. And I got to be honest, I think that feels really threatening to a lot of folks, a lot of Americans here, because a lot of us don't. You know, we're given a history that is very limited and we aren't challenged to.
This is a very dumb take. Sorry. sorry, not sorry. If you go sit there and say, oh, we are given a history, the idea of being colored was given to a group of people too, by white people. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Oh my God, black people in America, you don't know anything because you were given a history. Colored people in South Africa were given. Are y'all forgetting about apartheid? Like, are you like oh my God, Americans, y'all just dumb? No, no, no. Like, calm down, calm all the way down. That's not the truth. That's not the truth. The history given to coloreds were also given to them by the same people who gave our history to us. Like, let's be very clear. Oh, I hate that condescending. I hate this condescension right here. Hate it so very much.
Kind of way, maybe, like, and so then when you have this other, woman, South African colored woman, come over and sing, because she can sing. First of all, she's incredibly talented, and sing and be a
no, absolutely not. She's a talented person, but she's not a talented singer. Like, her voice is basic at best. Like, let's not, no. And I don't dislike the girl's artistry. I don't dislike, because Rihanna is not the best singer. Like, but like, let's not overblow the whole singing ability. Like, let's just stick to the racial identity part, because she's not a good singer. She's really not a good singer. She's an okay singer. She's a Ciara level singer. No, can the Tyla fans just agree that she's like basic at best in terms of vocal ability? She's a beautiful woman, a good dancer, a good performer, and a basic singer. Like, basic. Like, yeah, she would probably make a K-pop group.
star. She knows who she is. And I got to be honest, I think that feels really threatening to a lot of folks, to a lot of Americans here, because a lot of us don't. We're given a history that is very limited, and we aren't challenged to oftentimes go and try to understand anything further than that.
Okay, so this is so weird too. American history, Black American history, is so rich. Okay, by the way, I'm not pandering. I think Jamaican history is also very rich and deep and thoughtful and all of that too. I think I feel like I don't like the ease with which she's disrespecting the culture here. I don't like that ease. And I think a lot of people do that because patriotism, even Black patriotism, which is a whole thing that's not, people are like, oh, bad. But like, I feel like it's seen as bad. And what do you mean, how? Okay, you person, let's do it. I'm dropping the link now for you. Let's be honest about what I want to hear this. Let's be honest. This only one person. The thing is not open. This is for Miss Hello. This is only for Miss Hello. This is only for Miss Hello. Miss Hello, come explain, please. Let's be honest about what. Sorry, I'm gonna pause it. Miss Hello, please come explain. We are not talking about Tyla being disrespectful. You were responding to the fact that I said America has a rich history. You said, how is she? Let's be honest, when she said the people who gave us, Black people, let's just do African American and exclude myself from it, gave African American their history, gave it to them, and they don't have a rich, deep history like coloreds in South Africa. And I need you to explain this. No, because I feel like it's too easy. Like, there is this idea that privilege exists in a privilege exists very specifically. And where we find quote unquote privilege, we can demean and we can attack because they have privilege. And so they don't get to attack back, right? And on a general sense, I get the idea of punching up, not down, but it's not always up that we are punching. And I do find it incredibly distasteful when like people come online and they're like, oh, African Americans don't have culture. What? I think Burna Boy said some foolishness like that. Don't quote me on that. But like, it is okay to see it as different from, right? And appreciate the difference. I don't think demeaning history of different people is a very good thing to do. Like, I think that's a problem. Wait, Sanderson sister, are you are not Miss Hello?
Oh, hello?
Yeah, you're not Miss Hello, right?
Yeah, sorry, I couldn't hear you.
You are not Miss Hello, correct?
No.
All right. I'll let you get 2 minutes to say what you need, but this was only for Miss Hello, but you have 2 minutes. Go ahead.
Oh, wait, no. Okay, so I'll come back later.
Oh, all right, cool.
Yeah.
We aren't challenged or encouraged to learn about the diaspora. I couldn't tell, like somebody was telling me the other day about all of the different Caribbean islands and who colonized what. And I was so ashamed that I was like, yo, I actually don't know who colonized each one of these islands. And like, I didn't realize that Jamaicans love tea because of Britain. Like I didn't put that the fuck together, but like I should, you know, like I should know that. Why don't I know that? But I know like other random dumb American shit that's like not serving me. So I don't know.
How would you knowing, so you know dumb American stuff that don't serve you, that's cute. How does knowing Jamaicans like tea because of the UK serve you? How does that serve you? Yeah, it's easy to talk down. Sorry, this feels like I'm defending America. It's not that necessarily, but it is weird to be like, it's so easy to down and talk bad about the US and fine, I'm with you or whatever. But like, at least explain it. Like, explain your frustration. Explain that which you're frustrated about. Jamaicans like scarcity have nothing to do with the UK. Let's be very clear. Lifestyle and I challenge to learn Black American culture. They are right. That's my problem. Like, if you are coming here to sell in America, then do that. I think the problem is African American culture is so globally consumed that people don't see where it comes from. Yes. And it also informs a lot of other culture. And I don't know, again, in the way that I think there should be an appreciation for Haitian culture, I think there should be an appreciation for African American culture that has impacted us so profoundly, globally. So again, it's just down to respecting other people's culture and not downing other people's culture. And I guess it's easier to down your own. If she is African American, I guess that's easier to down her own.
I'm always in this weird place. I don't know if I'm articulating myself well, of like being super proud of being Black, but then also understanding that like this shit is a tool for them at the same time. And I can't wrap my head around the two things.
And I think to shoot you some bail, right? I think there is an experience as an immigrant, which is what Ashley was saying about, you know, different members of the diaspora having to come in and learn what it means to be Black in America. Right. That's the Black immigrant experience. Like being a Black immigrant requires you because you come here. But in general, right? In general, in the same way that we're talking about, you know, Black Americans being aware of their own Black American experience, but not other people's and other people's history, the same is true of the other Black people sitting within their Black nations, right? Because in the Bahamas.
All right, Love Mira, come explain to me how I've downplayed South African culture. Come explain to me. Come explain to me. Let me save this comment. Come explain to me how I've downplayed South African culture. Because y'all just be saying things, but I'm in the chat. So come explain that. How have I, at any point during this entire live stream, downplay South African culture? I bet you won't come up. I bet you just saying things down there and you will not come up to tell me.
To what I realized, I remember my when I in America, my freshman year of college, when they went to have me take African American studies, and I was like, I gotta take like dumb, 17, stupid. Like, oh, I gotta take this. I'm black. Like being black by osmosis taught me something, right? Like, and then like in teaching and going to that class, that's when you realize, oh, I actually don't know shit about being black or black history because I actually don't know absolutely nothing. And then in the course of that, right, like now at 32, it's like, oh, I've studied Black American history, and so I know.
Hello?
Hello?
Yep. Are you love Mira? Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. What were you saying?
So in regards to what I said about South African culture.
Themis says this, but he's downplaying South African culture. How did I do that?
So when we're talking about South Africa in relation to its history of apartheid, right? So here's the thing. I understand it.
No. How did I downplay?
Get to the point of what I'm
saying.
No,
I want you to answer the question of how I downplayed South Africa.
Yeah, I'm answering your question by giving context.
All right.
Okay, so when you're talking about the relationship to apartheid, which is when I feel that South African culture was being downplayed in relation to colored people, right?
Mm-hmm.
I felt like from my perspective that culture and that history wasn't being fully taken into account, because it's what that woman from Ole show said, because colored people literally have their own culture, their own life, their way of lingo, and I think that was created from the apartheid regime, which all clearly comes from white supremacy and colonialism. I feel like that wasn't taken into full consideration.
Wait, how did I downplay South Africa?
Because I feel like you weren't fully understanding like the way that apartheid in that relationship really created the culture of colored, and I felt like the way you're talking about it wasn't being fully understanding of that whole perspective when you were talking about apartheid.
I said that it created a category of people separate from Black people.
Yeah, which it did 100%. Yeah, that did 100%, correct.
Okay, what part of that is downplaying it?
I just felt like the understanding of colored people within their own race and its actual whole distinguished culture wasn't fully acknowledged, which comes across to me as downplayed.
All right, so you just felt like I downplayed because I said a factual statement and didn't give the full history of it, and that for you is downplaying.
If we're having a conversation that is very deep than what it is, and what you said is a fact, but we still have to add context to that fact because this is a deeper
Why would we need context for the fact? What did I say that needed context now?
The thing is, we cannot remove or downplay context about apartheid's relationship and how that apartheid literally and white colonialism created a whole separate culture. In order to have this conversation, we have to give full context to that. When we strip it down,
you do understand when people say full context, it's like kind of meaningless if the context does not add to the conversation, because context could mean absolutely everything. So what I wanted to say, I said, is there something that I did or said that was inappropriate or downplayed any aspect of colored people in South Africa?
But how can we have this conversation about Tyla and the issue of people perceiving colored if we aren't having the full context of how the colonization and white supremacy of apartheid created colored as a distinct category which later became its own context. If we're just saying the one part and we can't give the full context, then it's just not going to lead the conversation to everywhere.
What
In
is
the
the
way,
full context though? Like I'm trying to figure out what the full context is that would change. So wait, what did I say that is an issue, and what context can you give that would change that?
the context is understanding that white supremacy, white slavery is coming to apartheid, creating three distinct categories that
Mhm.
so white, colored, and black, and those
Yeah.
three cultures then became their own subcultures within the community. In the same way that we understand that in America, because due to white supremacy and white colonization, it became colored or black, and then also this then later on develops the one drop
How
rule.
does this clarify anything else
Yeah,
in what
so
I'm saying?
the thing is that I'm trying to relate this conversation into why this whole Tyler thing has become a diaspora war, and I
Yeah,
feel
no,
like
no, that's
we're
fine.
not
That's
giving
fine.
each
I'm
other.
trying to figure out how does this changes anything that I say. Did apartheid South Africa not create a hierarchy whereby white was at the top, colored was in the middle, and black was at the bottom?
Yeah, no, we're not disagreeing about that. I'm not disagreeing, but I feel like we also need to understand because of that created a subset of cultures. Because I'm talking about how this lack of understanding in general is leading to this misunderstanding between Americans and people of different cultures. Because I feel like we're not giving each other full context on
Yeah,
all
it feels
sides.
like you want me to explain how colored and colored culture is separate and from other things. And that is important on a discussion of colored in South Africa about what colored people are doing. We are not talking about colored insofar as what their culture is, but as far as there is a hierarchy that was created.
I also understand that, but I just feel like it's still just being like, I just feel like you keep trying to separate it into things when it's all things, because there just is this misunderstanding. So I just feel like when we add the full context to everything, it can maybe create better understanding between different sides of the diaspora, because I feel
That's
like we're
fine.
really not
You're not
giving
answering the question that I'm trying to pose, which is what context can you provide that would shift anything in the discussion we're having?
So it's okay in regards to let me ask you a question just so that way I can explain this well. Giving full context so that way we understand where this disconnect is coming between understanding about Tyler being colored. That's what I'm trying to say. Does that kind of make sense?
Not particularly. Tyler is colored. My issue is not that Tyler is colored, but that colored is a very specific thing in South Africa. She came
Yes.
to the US, and when she said, I am colored, and was asked about it, she just circumvented. She circumvented the question. She didn't answer the question. It rubbed people the wrong way. She's trying to sell to an American audience. If you can't sell to an American audience, that sounds like a you problem, and not an American need to go do research on colored in South Africa to understand Tyler, accept Tyler, and then buy Tyler's music. No, you are trying to penetrate the American market. Therefore, you have a responsibility to figure out what the American culture is and attempt to address it.
Okay, and that's fair. So can I just give full context, because I feel like a lot of people forget how this whole controversy started. So would it be okay if I just, because like I followed the timeline because I've seen this whole thing from the beginning unfold. So would it be okay if I just gave the full context of how all of this controversy happened?
Sure.
So what happens is that, so she had this TikTok video, right, that she posted like way before she got famous. So then she was explaining that in like South Africa, her culture is colored, right? So I think, so what happened was people saw that TikTok video and then there became a huge confusion, because at that point, this was a previous video where she already blew up in America. And so people were going back on the old TikToks and they found this old video of her calling herself colored. So then that's when the discourse started to happen about what kind of her race is. The discord never actually came from like stuff that she said when she blew up in America. It all started from an old TikTok video that she made, right? So there was a interview that I feel like people don't pay attention to. And if you find it, please let me know. Prior
Wait,
to
what
her,
did she say in the TikTok video?
so she was saying that she's like, oh, I'm Tyla, I'm a colored woman, I mixed with Zulu, Indian, Irish. Like that was a TikTok that she made kind of before she blew up. If you find it, just let me know. And so this TikTok that resurfaced when she started to blow up, where people were having conversations about, wait, what is her race? Because people were confused by the colored part. So she did an interview and prior to the Breakfast Club that I feel like people don't necessarily talk about. She said in South Africa, my race is called colored. And she said that she understands that it's a derogatory term here, but that's just what it's called in my culture. Well, we can have different interpretations of what that means.
Okay, so that's fine. Then she went on the Breakfast Club, right?
Yeah, so the thing is that I just
What happened? No. What happened on the Breakfast Club?
But let me explain, because I just feel like you keep going straight. This, like, let me give context. After that interview, I telling you, as was in time, there was
Wait, how are you jumping to what's happening after the interview? Like, can we figure out what happened on the interview? What happened on the interview?
Because this is the thing, is that you keep doing this. I'm trying to give you context of what led up to the breakfast.
Okay, no. What you're trying to do is skip information in the context. How are you going to jump to what happened after the interview and not explain what happened in the interview?
The interview, I'm explaining that interview prior to the Breakfast Club, and what led to the backlash, which is why she probably dodged the question if you just let me explain the full context, because I saw it go in chronological order. So I think what actually happened with her team about why she didn't explain it.
That's fine. Go ahead.
That after that interview, prior to the Breakfast Club, there was a lot of backlash and discourse about the color conversation. Even in the interview, she said that she understood it was a derogatory term. I don't feel that it healed anything, and it caused more confusion. Now, this is assumptions made. I have no proof. I think what probably happened is that her and her team probably felt like, maybe I explained this and it's just creating more controversy. So I think that they thought in their head, maybe we just don't want to cause any more confusion, which is why on the interview, that kind of panned out that the way that it did. Because I think
so there was a separate interview that you were talking about. What happened in that interview prior to the Breakfast Club interview? What happened?
So in that prior interview, she was explaining her race. And so what she literally said was, in South Africa, my race is called colored. And she said it was a very stressful term because she understands that in America, it's a derogatory term. But in South Africa, that's what my race is called. And then there was a huge controversy and backlash caused. And this was prior to the Breakfast Club. And I genuinely believe in my heart that backlash and the constant discourse probably ended up affecting the way that gave that.
Wait, before, what you genuinely believe in your heart is beautiful, amazing, but it's irrelevant to what we're talking about now. So that happened. We have Tyla coming into a situation where there is a hoopla, let's call it, around her colored identity, right? Her PR team told the Breakfast Club and the Breakfast Goons, idiots, to not ask her about this specific thing, right?
Yes, correct.
All right. Do you see that as a problem?
Yeah, no, I understand that. I'm not thinking is we're not disagreeing in the way that maybe it was not handled perfectly, but I also just think is that
No. It's not about perfectly. That was absolute trash. One, you don't have that weight in the game. Two, you are trying to sell to an American market, and you are trying to sidestep responsibility for something, even if it's minute and irrelevant, that the American market that you want to sell to care about. So you are trying to shut off engagement about something that the people that you are trying to sell to wants to understand. And the people, through Charlemagne, unfortunately, says no. And ask you the question, and you said, instead of answering, you turn to the PR person. The PR person says, no, I'm not going, we're not answering that. Oh, you're not answering that. Oh, let's keep that in, Charlemagne says. And they kept that in. That clips go viral, and then you post something. Do you see how this is a problem?
Yeah, but I understand that. But the thing is, I'm also taking into account that because she addressed it prior and it still got backlash, I'm also trying to give grace that maybe somebody was just genuinely afraid that I don't want to say anything wrong. And so look to her team like, I don't know how to handle this. And I understand that also that can come to as well.
Okay, but then you see that if she doesn't want to answer it or doesn't know how to answer it, you see how now she's ill prepared for the market she's selling to.
But then the thing is that when she did answer it, and she said
no, but that went out of hand already. Like, no one is about to, most of the people don't read. We've been on here talking about how people don't read, whatever, and they should. But you understand, in the moment where she could have explained herself, she decided that she wasn't going to explain herself. She didn't have to explain herself. In fact, her PR team steps in during the interview and shuts down a question. There is, again, this whole diva antics, but whatever, it doesn't actually matter. Believe in yourself, whatever. But if this is important to the audience, right? Racial identity is very important in the American context, right? Fine. Do you see how this is not going to work for her? Like, that is a bad moment for her.
Yes,
Now,
but
do I think they should wreck her career? Probably not. But not probably. I don't think they should wreck her career.
but what I'm saying is that I have an issue with the lack of grace and the full context, because she did address it, and there was still tons of backlash where she said, "I do understand." And this was prior to the Breakfast Club's derogatory term, and we can't ignore the fact that that probably influenced that. Maybe this is a young person who's coming into fame, who's probably like, I don't know how to handle this. In that moment, probably sits up and just says, "Look, to PR team, how
Yeah,
do
but you keep saying that as an excuse.
Yeah.
It's not. If you're a young person coming into this, I can have grace for you while acknowledging that you have a responsibility to your audience. And if you don't feel ready or prepared, then don't go into the interview. Don't engage with this right now. Penetrate the American market at a later time, but you are trying to do it now. So Americans holding your foot to the fire, or Black Americans in particular, holding your foot to the fire on something they care about, even if we're saying, oh, this is a identity, it doesn't matter, you support white people as artists, so this should matter about you supporting someone who is quote unquote colored. Like, that's fine. But if the market you're selling to cares about this, you don't get to dismiss them. What Tyla did was dismiss this. Her team attempt to dismiss it. And it did not help that Charlemagne came out and announced that the team told them not to ask her about this thing. Who are you? Absolutely not. You don't have that weight. You don't have that weight.
You know what? Do you know what? I honestly think that the Breakfast Club is not the outlet to have a very culturally sensitive conversation. I
agree. Fully agree.
I agree with our Tyler's team. I would have sat down with Trevor Noah, because Trevor Noah is also South African, and because Trevor Noah is a cultural pugnant, he can better articulate, because Trevor Noah also understands that he's colored, but he don't say that when he's in America. He can say in America, I'll be seen as Black. If I was them, I would have used this as a PR tactic to have Trevor Noah there, who's someone who is of South African descent, who's lived in America, and he can probably articulate it, because Trevor Noah is like an intellectual pugnant. So he can explain that in a way that can kind of heal sides, because I just think that Tyla probably doesn't have the intellectual bandwidth to really explain the complexities of the South African racial Brazilian.
No, she does. She does. Afterwards, she wrote a beautiful letter that felt like PR. And it was like, why didn't you just say this? Like, even if people wanted to hate her, if she had said, I am colored in South Africa, this is what colored mean in South Africa. I recognize that I will be considered Black in the United States, and I am not trying to talk down on Black people or be above Black people, because something people don't understand or don't get is that there is a hierarchy. There was a hierarchy created, and by saying I'm colored, for a lot of people it says I am not Black, I am colored, I'm actually better than Black people in a system, right? And that's how a lot of Black people register it, right? Now, she might not have meant that, but now you do actually have the responsibility to engage with that. Because if you're better than me, I'm not paying. I'm buying it. If you think you're better than me, I'm not buying nothing from you. So that's not on that.
I mean,
and she might not. She genuinely. I don't know. I don't believe, and this is my full me being as open as possible. I don't believe that someone who has not done the unlearning or the learning about culture in this way can grow up in a system that was based on their superiority. And if you don't do that unlearning to can really believe yourself to be equal to a group of people that are systemically placed beneath you. I don't believe that. And so for me, when I left Tyla and I was like, I don't know, I don't like this, there was a kind of engagement that I wanted. And maybe it's like requires a lot of sociological work for an artist to do that is unfair, but it doesn't feel like a differentiation without elevating yourself. It did not feel that way to me. And we're talking about feelings now, but it didn't feel that way. But I can say, even if I felt that way, I'm not about to drag her for it. I just did not like the way that she engaged and the way that her team tried to shut down conversation and the way people just assume that her difference did not have a kind of superiority to it, especially when she's telling people to hold her awards, right? And this doesn't actually have to mean anything, but this is how narrative build, and she did not get ahead of the narrative that was forming around her. She actually played into it a lot online in responding to people. Even when they were talking about, oh, the thing that you wore looked very similar to Britney Spears, she went off and it was like, well, even if you didn't want it to look like and pay to be a kind of replica in some way of what Britney Spears did, your stylist sure did. It was very clearly a ripoff of Britney Spears, but there was an arrogance in which she came out and pushed back against this. There is a way that you watch Tyla that it might not be fear, but this is how narratives are created. And she just wasn't ahead of hers. Now, the EP wasn't good. So regardless of whatever, it probably wouldn't sell in the US because it was not a good EP
because music
from
is
my perspective.
I mean, okay, so there are several points. It's just music's subjective, so I don't say something's not good.
I mean, it's not that subjective if she only sells 4,000. if she didn't sell it, yes, music is subjective, art is subjective, but an objective measure used might not be the best, but it's the reasonable person standard. I
That's
mean, she's a pop girl. She's a main pop girl in the arena with a ton of exposure that did not sell well. So people rejected the music. So
okay, so sorry, you said so many points that I just had to keep note because I wanted to address all of your points. Okay, so I'll
no,
go.
you don't have to. You can have 1 minute to have your final statement. You don't have to address everything because we went on for way too long. But go ahead.
It doesn't give me equal staying ground to address everything, but
no, I'm not. No, we're not. This is not a debate. No, you're not going to address everything. You do have space to talk though, but like you don't have to address everything. That was not a debate. I was talking.
Okay, well, anyway, so basically, so just in regards to the EP, to be honest, I think we all agree that EP purely had like zero promotion because I know she said she was releasing an album next year. I can tell that that label probably just said, you know, you can dump a 4-track EP of 2 songs that were already released with probably zero promotion. That, to be honest, most people had no idea that was coming out until after this Discord came out. So it was a 4-track EP that nobody knew was dropping off, barely promoted. So to be honest, it was 2 songs that were already released. So it wasn't really gonna do huge numbers. It's literally 4 songs alone, but that's just one thing in itself. And also, I wouldn't even say she's a pop. I mean, even though she has pop elements of R&B, her culture is amapiano, and her music always tends to have an amapiano sound. I just don't think that in America there is a big market for it, distinctly not Afrobeats, because Afrobeats is its own distinct culture. Amapiano has its own sound, its own culture. So, and I think she says that she doesn't want to release pop music, she wants to release more amapiano. I don't think there is a big enough cultural market in America for her to release.
That's a cop out, and like I don't. She said she wanted to be bigger than Rihanna. You don't get bigger than Rihanna without being pop. Like pop is popular culture. It is impossible for you to be bigger than Rihanna without being pop.
And that's true. And I think it's struggle because she talks about in her Variety interview that her label wants her to make more pop and she's struggling because she wants to make music with her heritage. Rihanna became big because remember when she came out, she was making more of her dancehall music. But Rihanna became a superstar because she pivoted from that and made more pop crossover music. If that is the truth, if you do want to be Rihanna, you have to kind of give up, and this is really sad, but you have to give up the amapiano sound and move.
No. I mean, even if she continue with amapiano and she become big, that becomes pop. Pop just means popular culture. So when people say she's pop, she was a part of the main zeitgeist. She was center in the conversation of the main pop, the new pop girls, like the new school of pop girls. She was pop. She was making amapiano pop, like.
The thing is, I think Tyla's a hybrid of multiple different styles because even her EP is way more amapiano. I'll be honest, I don't think there is a big market for pure amapiano. I do think if she wants to be as big as Rihanna, I do think she has to pivot. There's a reason why her label was trying, and she says herself, was trying to give her more generic pop to appeal to the masses. Because it's a marketplace, it's the music industry. You want to appeal to masses. So there is a sense of you want to be big in America, you do have to assimilate away from that sound that I don't think that she wants to do, but then that will affect your career adversely. And I think that we can both be real, like that is just what you have to do in order to make it big, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, selling. We can. It's not like, oh, she just wanted to put this out and fail. No, she wanted to do well. If they didn't promote it, they didn't promote it. They didn't do well. It is what it is. She again. This doesn't mean the end of her career, and I actually do want to see how she emerges from this. And I am willing to buy back into the Tyler project, but her fans are delusional, right? Like they're like, oh, we don't care nothing about African American, we don't care about American, we don't care, blah blah blah. Okay, no one bought her album. Why are people mad? And also, your fans cannot start demonizing people when you haven't had a big enough base. Nicki can do it, Beyonce can do it, Rihanna can do it, Madonna can do it. Taylor Swift's fans are terrible at it, and they can do it because they're big enough to start excluding people. Tyler not big enough to exclude anyone at this point. Until her fans start buying her album, she needs as much as she can get.
I think there's just honestly everyone's just all sensitive from all sides. But the thing
True.
is that I just feel like at this point, just keep your head down and just make music. And then if you find a hit, you hit. And also, like, okay, if she doesn't want
No,
to do
unfortunately, vibes count, and she can't keep her head down. She got to be out here and making people like her.
say keep her head down, I just mean just keep making music, and if you catch a hit, you catch a hit. And if our fans are right, if you don't want to go to America and you want to go to other markets, that's fine. But we all know that the American market is huge. If you don't want to go there, that's fine. But then you will miss out something, and you can focus on other international markets. You know, it's just like that depends on her and how her and her team feels like. Do I want to stay in America or should I focus on other global markets? Because apparently she's doing like a South Asia tour or something. So maybe she's just thinking, maybe I might try and build a global fan base. It just depends on her and how her team wants to play it, to be honest. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. And I do think she should do a global fan base. And she might try to appeal to some white folks or something. Because if she's going to go to Black folks, it's going to require her to do some learning. And for Rihanna, it was easy. I think a lot of I won't make that, but it looks like Rihanna was like, I am Black. And I think she showed a ton of respect for Black culture in particular, African American culture, and she was very easily accepted. And I don't think Thames actually cares to do any kind of learning of whatever culture because Thames is not trying to do anything but be herself. And we just love what she provides. So if we're going to try to consume Thames and Thames product, we have to learn what she's doing because she's not forcing her music and she's not trying to be the main pop girl. I think we are trying to make her that. So for us to do that, we actually have to invest in her. Where Tyla is attempting, her team is trying to push her in this arena. And that is a very different approach.
Yeah, because I get that because Tens and I talk. Because I'm also Nigerian as well, so I've kind of so they've been around. So I've been following them before they blew up. Like the differences between like Afrobeats and piano is that even when Afrobeats like started making its waves here, we're kind of different. It's about we come here, but if you kind of accept us, you accept us, and if you don't, you don't. But we're open to bringing a new, different style to the world because I think like people really tend to mix up Afrobeats and piano. And I'm like, there are two different sounds, two different cultures, which is why I was like, oh, when Tyla won the Afrobeats VMAs, and we were like, Tyla don't even make Afrobeats. So we were like, why did she win the Afrobeats? I was like, I know that's not her fault because it's fan voted, but it just annoys me when people mix up those two. But when it comes to the perception, like Arya Star and Thames, one point I just have, I don't like when people only bring up these women in opposition to other women because I think that just feeds into misogyny where you can only pick up.
No. I mean, I brought it up because people are saying xenophobia. It's not xenophobia. And I also brought it up, Thames, not Ara Star, but Thames, because Thames, there is a very, I could do instead the K-pop girls where we see Lisa and some of the Blackpink girls trying to get into the American market and having to figure out the American market, where Jisoo is just doing her own thing in Korea. And if you want to see her, you have to go learn Korean. You have to go do that. And there's a difference. It is the same thing with Tyla, who is trying to come into the American market very overtly so. you have to engage, like you have to learn. And if you're not willing to do it, yeah, I think you should go to probably Brazil, the UK. Like there's a global audience that might consume your music differently.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I feel like Tyler's marketing is completely similar to like K-pop of like Lisa and Jenny and stuff. Because I see Thames and Ari different. Because I don't see that like they're not doing like even with like Rema and stuff. Like we're not doing that aggressive level of promotion. I feel like if you mess with it, you mess with it, and then you come into it. But it's not that like level of aggressive promotion that you would see of like the K-pop girls. Because you even see them like even when they all did their solo albums, you see like people like Jenny and like Lisa and Rose, like they collaborate with like Bruno Mars because there's a level of you have to assimilate and adjust yourselves in order to do that, and that's understood within the K-pop market. You know, we see with like BTS where they make these American crossover songs and have on rappers because there's a level of we understand that we have to assimilate there. So I find like the K-pop push to be more similar to what Tyler's team's trying to do, and I feel like people are equating that to Thames and Arya Star, and I'm like and I agree with you, it's like it's not the same in what they're trying to do.
Yeah. And that's why she needs to operate in some ways like the K-pop girl is, unfortunately. I don't agree with that, but if you are going to sell to a market, you are going to have to give the market what they want. And you can't just say, oh, I'm here, I'm a diva, I own this now. No, you don't. No, you do not. And we are not going to go do the learning. You're going to have to do the teaching and hope that people take to your teaching, because you are trying to sell us something that we don't need or want or know about. So you have an uphill you have an uphill battle.
I think with Tyler, comes to like a personal identity issue of because I was saying like when you go to like a variety interview, I think she's having an identity of, do I want to completely assimilate? But maybe I definitely believe that she thinks that I want to introduce my culture, but without having to compromise who I am as an individual. But there is a truth to it that in order to specifically make it in America, you are expected to assimilate. Because the thing is, people forget that Akon did the same thing. You know, like Akon also. He's like, people forget that Akon's African, but Akon had to assimilate in the way that he advertised himself and the way that he made music. And I think she's struggling with that. I don't want to assimilate. I want to bring my culture, but then it's not congruent to making it as a megastar in America, because there is always just a level of assimilation that obviously maybe for African doesn't feel fair to you. And I get that, but it is just kind of the cruel reality of that's just the way it is. There is that level of assimilation that you are expected to give. And if that's something that she's not feeling comfortable with, then I just don't know if that's congruent with being a mega superstar, because you know life is not perfect and the world isn't black and white. Something unfortunately has to give. So the real question is, will she be prepared to do that? Because from that variety interview, I think that she's having a huge internal conflict with this that none of us can solve, because that's just what's going on in her head and how her team decides to go from there. But that's the last thing I'll say before I leave you.
I appreciate that. Thank you for coming up and sharing your perspective.
No problem.
No math.
No Black American history, but
I'm going to drop the link now for other people after this.
even though being a Bahamian, I was born and raised in the Bahamas or whatever, I don't know Bahamian history or Bahamian. I can't speak to Bahamian history the same way I can speak to Black American history, because this is what I've studied. You know what I mean? This is versus what we're told. What we're actually taught from the schools is nothing. Like when I think back to what I was taught about Bahamian history in Bahamian schools, the result, the same way Black Americans aren't being taught Black American history by a colonized structure that doesn't want you to know it for good reason, right? Because they don't want you to be educated. They don't want you to be able to resist X, Y, Z. It's the same thing in the Bahamas, right? Like I remember reading my textbook, Making It in the Bahamas, whose crimes Making It in the Bahamas wrote in the book, like, slavery wasn't that bad in the Bahamas. You know what I mean? Luckily for Bahamians, they were lazy, and so they were given their freedom without a fight. That's in the book, in the textbook. That's what they taught you in the school. In school, that was the answer to the test. You say anything else, F. You see what I'm saying? So I said it to say, I wish we all had this understanding. I feel like when I see the internet, right? Something I experienced in America. I am constantly, and I'm not gonna make this about my life experience as somebody who's African and Caribbean on this internet here or whatever, and how you're perceived by, Black Americans who feel a way about that, and this is in the next thing, right? But something I wish we understood was, in the same way, I know that it would be ridiculous to make Clarence Thomas and the worst coonish Black American I could find representative of Black Americans. That would be ridiculous. And I know that that's ridiculous. And I understand why not every Black American is a Black American history scholar and knows all these things and we're all working through a certain level of internalized anti-Blackness. I wish the same respect would be, everybody realize the same is also true. You can't pick there you will know, everybody know a million Africans and only pick the African that say something anti-Black American, you know what I mean, to represent all Africans. And same thing for Caribbeans, and same thing about these people. I wish we would understand that Black people all across the globe have been colonized, have been force-fed anti-Blackness, and so we all wield and weaponize it against one another. Like, I wish we would stop. You're gonna see people in the comments breaking their ankle to tell you, but no, I met Africans and they said this about us and they said that. And I'm like, I wish you would understand that there's coons among us all. You know what I mean? Like, please, for the love of God, stop trying to make it seem like one of these Black people are just magically more anti-Black.
Oh, I hope she stopped. Look, Ole, period, 8 down. That's exactly what I'm saying. But you're actually responding to her right here. Yeah, I don't know. She looked like she know. Your friend down at the bottom here, she looked like she know you're talking to her, but I don't know if you know you're talking to her. Friend at the bottom might know you're talking to her, but I don't know if you know you're talking to her. But period, you ate that.
And the other one is the true Black, and the other one is true African. No, ignorant niggas among us all.
That's anti-Black in and of itself, I think.
Yeah.
To go try to take the worst of the bunch, right? And be like, oh, and that's the representative. It's you're making the worst of the bunch the monolithic.
So yeah, the thing, like, I don't know if it's cowardly, but if I'm mad at you, I'm gonna address you. I'm gonna tell you, I think you're wrong, and this is why I think you're wrong. Defend yourself. When you speak so generally, the person who made the statement don't get to like address it if they don't want to. I don't like that. No, I'm addressing you specifically. But they're friends, so I get it. Actually, I don't, because that's what I'm going to do to my friends. Because Ole was talking to this lady right here. Lady in the red, that's who Ole was talking to. That looks more maroon, but yeah.
That's also monolithic.
It's also intentional.
Like,
but for me, I think what feels really annoying about this conversation, that like just generally, is that people talk about race as if it's this thing that's like matter of fact, as if it's not this socio-political construct designed to function in the way that it does, right? And so for me, I'm like, if race is like this political position, if it's this like decision you are actively making or that has been actively placed on you, then like, why are we talking about it as if it's something that you can like go and just like pull up numbers to support? Like, people sound like race scientists when they talk about Blackness in particular. And I'm like, do we want to talk about chattel slavery? Because if we do, then like a lot of folks are using the very same logics that were used to legitimize chattel slavery to put us in the position where we have to even talk about.
Was she colored or no? Did she self-worth us? No, because all of this, you're doing absolutely nothing.
Ourselves as Black people, right? Like, or to even talk about ourselves as people who are part of these countries with borders, as if those are things that are just innate to us, as if those are things that we just were born into, and just we just decided like, hey, we want to be a part of this place that has borders that defines us by the color of our skin.
This is so annoying. It is so annoying. Like, someone is like trying to shove as many sociological ideas and terms in a statement that absolutely means nothing. Like, you're not responsive to anything. You're not adding any real value to that conversation at all. Like, at all. Do you want to talk about chattel slavery? Actually, no. We want to go back to the conversation at hand. Now, if you want to tie chattel slavery into it, sure, go ahead. Would love to hear it. Very patient guy here. What are you talking about? No, jamming a bunch of sociological terms together does not make you sound smart, and it actually dissuades anyone from wanting to listen to you. It's just very annoying. I think it's very annoying.
And that's just going to be what it's going to be. And it's like, that's not how race works.
This you talking about some shit that people ain't ready to actually. We're really like, we're not even there. No, like, because if we got it, even ethnicity, even like people also being able to understand that, like, yeah, I can identify, I'm Black American and I'm proud of the culture, and realize, yeah, that's just made up though. I'm a product of where I am.
Blah blah blah. Race is a social construct. Yeah. It has consequences. It has consequences. So we're talking about the real consequences for racial identity and identification of people based on their race. Yeah, it could be a social construct. It is what it is, blah, blah, blah. Okay, but these consequences, though. Because like this over-articulation of the issue presents as if they're talking down to people, like, oh, you dumb people, you don't even know that race is a social construct. White people gave you race. Yeah, that's fine. But we're living with it now. Are we post-race? Is that are we fighting to be post-race? Is that the new war? I didn't know that. I didn't know we were like, okay, racism, we're just gonna be colorblind. And not as it relates to racism, we're just gonna be post-race. If that's the goal, period, I'm here for it, but articulate that. This is some foolishness. Like, I don't know who you're talking to. I don't know who you're talking to.
You could even the color, like, yeah, color too.
By the way, and I don't like this. This lady right here is trying to refocus, but the way she's doing it is very annoying. He's like, "Oh, they're not even that deep. So let's get back to the shallow, the shallow part, right? Disrespecting the audience as opposed to telling this man, girl, ain't nobody got time for what you're talking about. Let's get back on track." Right? Instead of saying, let's get back on track, she's like, we got to get back to the shallow area because that's too deep. Nah, it's not too deep. It's just not a part of the conversation. Tell your friend that.
The critiques, when people talk about that, I'm like, yeah. And then we can dig further. And yeah, well, Black Americans and ethnicity, right? Exactly. And Bahamian is one of two. Okay, well, if we really broke it all down, all this is made up. But people can't, I think people acknowledging that it's all made up and it was all a construct used against us makes them feel like that there can no longer be pride in that. Or not pride in it being used against us, but the pride that has come from it, the pride that.
Also, this over critique of like, oh, Black people in America, the race with a social. Tyla Audia thinks she colored. Why y'all should be dragging the way y'all dragging Black people. Y'all should be dragging Tyla for saying she colored, because colored is definitely a social construct. If Black a social construct, colored are definitely a social construct. So why y'all dragging us for talking about Black and wanting to identify people as Black? Maybe drag Tyla then for identifying herself as colored. No. So the whole race as a social construct that comes from slavery is only going to be aimed at Black people, and none of that about social construct is going to be aimed at Tyla calling herself colored. None of that. No, we just going to just drag Black people for being dumb and not knowing that race is a social construct. But colored is not. Colored, it created in, mind you, Blackness came way before apartheid South Africa, where colored emerged as a legal classification, but race, the social Black, the social construct, and not colored. Y'all spend so much time dragging Black for being a social construct. Not y'all. Let me be very clear. This person in the middle with the do-rag is there, and this lady over here is trying to validate him for some reason. I don't know what reason that is. Probably why I can't keep friends. This is why I have 3 really, really close friends, and everyone just a revolving door, girl. At this point, everyone else is just a revolving door, because I'm not going to sit there and have you play in my face. And it's not going to happen. We're going to fight. We're going to argue every single time. Like, what do you mean? No.
To come from it in the survival, where our ancestors had to make something out of it. You know what I mean? They had to reclaim something.
And that's sort of, I'm sorry, actually, just really quick, I want to say, like, that's the thing for me is like, babes, nobody's taking away the fact that we've created a bunch of culture out of some shit. Like, we've had to create, like I promise I'm not taking that away from us. And also, like, we have to acknowledge.
Oh, no, that's exactly what you were doing. That's exactly what you were doing. But go off. At least you're correcting yourself now.
That it was still the shit that led us here. Like, and until we're able to be real and clear about that, like, we're going to continue to have conversations about whether or not Tyla gets to produce music in the States, and then we start having conversations around whether or not Tyla is mimicking Rihanna or if she's mimicking Beyonce, and then we start talking about, well, Rihanna is this and Beyonce is this, and listen, like if we're gonna have a conversation,
She's really Aaliyah's child, but okay.
Now we're gonna get to the music. Now I'm ready to get into the music, but no, like my only point, and I want to pass it to Ashley. My only point is just like we have to be much more clear about the grounds on which race is created, sustained, and discussed if we're going to be honest about why Tyla is engaged the way that she is, which I agree with Ashley is about xenophobia, and largely about anti-blackness in the ways that we don't want to contend with this sort of global phenomenon that is anti-blackness.
He said nothing. Let me be very clear. These are all conclusions being made without an argument to validate. What he's saying is predicated on absolutely nothing. I cannot believe that at one point in my life I was I might have been like this, because this is absolutely insane. This is absolutely insane. Like, you just making all these random conclusions predicated on absolutely nothing. Like, you explain none of these. Yeah, xenophobia, how? Anti-blackness, how? Who is anti-black in this scenario? Tyla or the people trying to get her to be black? Like, race is a social construct. Great. Black is a race, therefore it's a social construct. How about colored? Not going to engage with that at all. He's saying absolutely nothing. All of them people just shaking their head because they're familiar with the sociological phrase and framing and way of speak, and they're just using it to, like, in their bubble, just like talk to each other. And they don't know what they're saying. We don't know what they're saying, but a lot of people pretend to know what they're saying because none of this makes sense. What he's saying, specifically him. The person in the middle, the guy in the middle, him. No one. No. Just no.
I think Ash, I'm gonna let you talk. I'm gonna just say two things. I think xenophobia, I think why people like xenophobia is because xenophobia becomes a convenient opportunity to intellectualize anti-blackness, because people's xenophobia shows up real differently depending on the race of the immigrant. And like, people are not honest with themselves about this, but I'm going to say this. I want everybody to make sure to note that whenever I use my examples of something, I'm not just talking about Black Americans. I started in the Bahamas, okay? As somebody who was born and raised in the Bahamas, right? I am Bahamian, my mommy's Bahamian, but my daddy is Nigerian. And so that allowed for a particular experience of having my daddy be an immigrant and seeing Bahamians in that way. There is a massive, when I tell you, the discrimination against Haitians across the Caribbean, across the world, but I'm specifically.
Oh, period. Come through, Ole. Period. That's what I was talking about earlier. This is so true. It is so disgusting, and it is so true.
Specifically talking about, in the Caribbean and in the Bahamas is immense. And the way you would see, but to this day, you'll see it now, to this day, if we go on Twitter right now, type in the Haitians, bam, you see them carrying on bad. Listen, the way they will carry on is like, oh, they'll make it like it's about immigrants and protecting the country and what resources and blah, 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 blah. But this hatred is only towards Haitians, and which is very interesting in a country that has been colonized and become a slave to tourists, to tourism, to where we are here to serve the tourists, right? And so here you are serving white tourists, who you see as tourists, you know what I mean? They're tourists, and when they move here, they get to be expats, these white people and stuff. You don't feel that way about them. But what is Haitians, it's these immigrants, it's these Haitians, they need to get out of there. And similarly, you will see all these people, they're not talking about, like, for all these people who act like when they want to get xenophobic towards non-American Black people, like they do it in the name of Blackness and pro-Blackness, you don't got shit to say about these white immigrants and what white people are doing and how white people are emerging, how they let nothing about that. But all this hate and vitriol is reserved for non-American Black people, and there's a way that we don't reckon with where that is really coming from. We don't unpack it. People just leap to, they get offended. It's funny, they'll get offended when you say, and I see it every time. Anytime anybody tries to point out that this is xenophobia towards non-American Black, it's like, no, why do we like as though we can't be? Where I see people take the same kind of offense, like affront, that you see like white people carry on when they're called racist, like, no, I can't be to being called xenophobic. Meanwhile, I think it's much more than xenophobia. It's anti-Blackness. I think xenophobia is just what's tolerated. People will allow it because they're quick to intellectualize. Well, I don't like immigrants. I had this bad experience. I don't have this in my country, so they shouldn't have this, and blah, 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 blah. And they come up with all these things.
So, yes, xenophobia does exist, and I think a lot of Black immigrants experience xenophobia. I don't know if she's characterizing... I don't know how she's characterizing this as if, like, Black Americans are xenophobic as a general rule, or if she's saying some people experience xenophobia, right? Because as it relates to Tyla was very well loved prior to the whole colored thing. Tyla was very well loved until she started doing a bunch of interviews. A bunch of international artists, African specific artists, are very well loved in the United States. So I don't. Yes, xenophobia exists. I don't know how she's. I don't know how she's like engaging this. Like I honest to God don't, because I agree with pretty much everything she said up until this very point. Because she even said we just hate each other, we harm each other, right? And so like Black people globally engage in very mean and disrespectful ways towards each other. And I agree with that specific statement. I don't know that I can say African Americans are more hateful towards other Black people. Like, I don't know that I can say that. Like, I don't know that that's a fee. Like, how do you test that? How do you test that? I'm gonna look into this. I might have to test this, but like, because I think you can survey attitudes, and maybe there's research around this that I haven't been privy to, but I will be privy to it by the time I come back here, about American attitudes towards other Black people versus other Black people's attitude towards African American and just people generally around the diaspora. So yeah.
You will see the most educated of people tripping over themselves to believe anything that justifies why they should other kinds of Black people. And I'm gonna let Ashley talk, but I wanted to remind you because I wanted to give you a chance to get back to it, Deshaun, after Ash. Christina had said something earlier about perception and the problem with feeling like people's perception matters more and we get to choose how they identify and this and the next thing. And I know you have a song in your heart. I can see your face. So I just wanted to give you the opportunity to think that over so you could reply to that after Ashley finished. You see people moderating.
Irritating, yo.
The quote, any women moderate. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Madam Speaker. No, my issue honestly was to touch a little bit on the relationship between Bahamians and Haitians, because for me,
I don't. This is going into a different place now. I thought we were here to talk about Tyla, and now we're talking about Bahamians and Haitians, and I care, I do care, but like I'm not in the right mind frame for this, because if you're in a Caribbean country and you're not Haiti, if you're not starting with an apology to Haiti, I don't want to hear it. If you're a Caribbean country and you're going to talk about Haiti and it doesn't start with an apology, I ain't got time. I ain't got time. I ain't got patience. No. I don't want to hear it, girl.
I think my issue with scholarship. I think my issue with scholarship is how.
Hi, Alexis.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can hear you. How are you?
I am okay. How are you doing?
I am doing well. Let me read these two things. How is it incumbent on the audience who just wants to listen to music to then go do it? It's not. It ain't. It ain't. It absolutely ain't. Maybe for some other reason, but not just to listen and buy her music. This isn't the Shade Room comment section. We have critical thinking over here. We don't need history lessons over here. Period. Assassin. Member for 34 months. Appreciate you. Thank you. All right, go ahead.
Hi. So I know, I agree with partially with the idea that the xenophobia is coming out of this whole Tyla criticism. And I think you and I are going to agree to disagree on a lot of things. And by the way, my profile picture was different, but I was the one to whom you asked if I even bought her EP. And I was saying that I don't buy EPs altogether. I just stream. So my profile picture.
Her EP.
Yeah, I stream it every single day. Like I've been listening to it every single day. And
are you in the US?
Sorry?
Are you in the US?
Yeah, I'm in the US.
You're gonna have to stream it a lot more time because you need to stream it. I forgot how many times, thousands of times for it to be one unit sold. So you gotta. Hopefully, you're streaming it in the background right now because she gonna really need them streams. Continue.
As of last week, it was 60 million on Spotify alone, and like 30-something million on YouTube Music. So
I need to do more work. That is trash for a big artist.
Well, apparently, according to a lot of you, she's not that big, right? So she should be
No.
doing worse than that.
She's not what big. She won a Grammy. She was on the world stage. I think, was she at Lollapalooza? I don't know. No. She should be doing a lot better. Normani is outdoing her. Absolutely not. Because she's bigger, in a lot of people's mind, she's bigger than Normani. But continue.
Okay. So I wanted to address something that I've noticed that a lot of people say, which is Tyla came to the United States. And although I do agree that she needs to study the culture and like the norms in the US, here's my perception. I think sometimes Black people here in the United States get very excited when they see something new and cool from other culture, and they popularize it. And then sometimes said thing or the person behind said thing doesn't reciprocate the same love, and it becomes like a whole thing when Black Americans realize that like what they have given is not reciprocated. So this is what I remember of
So
Tyla.
before you continue, can I reframe that?
Yes.
I think novelty is generally good, right? In terms of perception, if it's seen as positive initially, it's new, it's generally liked. That's not a Black people specific things. Like differences are generally hated too, but it is a global thing. People like new things that are seemingly good. All right. So it's not Black people. I think generally people like that. People are like, oh. Oh, here we go. I'm waiting for you to go. You can. All right, your camera is off. I'm adding now. All right, cool. Camera is gone. Go ahead. You're muted.
Okay, now camera's off. Okay, hi. What I was saying was, so when the song "Water," I think that's what went viral on TikTok. So when it went super duper viral, it went viral here in the United States. And at the time, I think a lot of Black people here in the US didn't know her. I think they made her popular because she was the representation of what a lot of Black Americans love to claim as a beautiful Black woman. I really sincerely do not believe that if she was as darker skinned as Ira Star or Thames that everybody's using to make her a point, they would have made her go as viral as she did. So they expected her to just be down with the calling herself Black, and it turns out she wasn't.
That's
So
an unfair take by a bunch of people online that I've heard. Black people alone did not make Tyla go viral.
it was everybody.
Everyone was
But
in that
but
water
as of
challenge.
now, it seemed like
Wait, but let's be clear. That water song was a hit globally. And so
yes.
the idea that, oh, she had the aesthetic and there's an undertone of Black women are jealous of Tyla, or they're mad Tyla don't want to
I
be
don't think
Black.
so at all.
Or they're mad Tyla don't want to be Black because they want to use Tyla as their representation. I don't think that is an accurate assessment. I think that is a terrible assessment. And I've heard a lot of people online making that assumption and making that argument without providing any proof of it, because that don't make no sense.
I don't think Black women are jealous of her, but I do think here in the United States, people tend to live through their favorite light-skinned celebrities and biracial. And I think a lot of people saw Tyler as something that could help them provide, like somebody that could help them with that fantasy, and she just straight up refused. So let me not go off the rails. So what I recall is that her song went viral, and like you said, it was popular globally, including with the white tea kids. As of today, the conversation is mainly centered around Black Americans, because this is what I noticed when her EP, flopped, like you guys say. This conversation didn't start because people wanted Black Americans to go stream her stuff. It started because a lot of Black Americans on Twitter were making videos celebrating and gloating, literally making videos salivating over the fact that she was failing. That is what started this conversation.
Yeah,
So
well, no. What started this conversation is her racial identity and being rejected because of how she handled this identity. There were Black people celebrating online. That is correct. But that's not what started this conversation.
Okay, so sorry, I mean, okay, I meant like the backlash following this new EP, but the conversation as a whole, the whole conversation regarding the color take, I from what I recall, right? She said that on Twitter. No, no, sorry, she posted something on social media. I don't remember, and then she went on the Breakfast Club. That interview on the Breakfast Club is what really started pissing people off, and I do believe that even after then, when she gave her award to Halle, I think people were already mad at her, and then the
No, that
reaction.
that pissed me off.
Yes, I
Me
know you.
personally.
I know you specifically. That's when you just completely disconnected from her. Like I remember. I mean, I'm not sure if you made any videos, in between, but I remember you specifically. You weren't saying much negative things about her until she did that specific thing, but that was
Yeah,
you.
I don't think I'm ever saying anything negative about her. Like I think
Uh,
I'm critiquing her, but I don't think I'm being negative about her.
okay. Uh, so when she had already given Halle that award to hold, people were already like seriously mad at her. So I personally believe that anything that she would have done after that Breakfast Club interview, people would have just like not react well to it. It doesn't matter if it was good or bad, because she actually went on Twitter.
I have
Yeah.
a question for you.
Yes.
So you think that Black women in particular, they wanted to use Tyla as their to make Tyler their representation of Black, and they were upset when she rejected that.
Strongly believes yes.
All right. Why did
But
anyone else not buy her album?
sorry, I know you said Black women.
Yeah,
I don't know.
wait. So why did Black men not buy her album? Asian, white. Why did no one else buy her album in America?
This is my take. I believe that there was no promotion for the album. I didn't know she.
Okay,
I
wait.
listened
So
to her
that is
stuff.
wild to then make the excuse that no one else bought her album because no promotion, but say Black women specifically didn't buy her album because they wanted her to be the representation, and she declined, and that's why they didn't. So you have a carve out for Black women in particular, but for the larger group, oh, it's just not, they didn't promote it. Do you see how that's the problem?
I'm okay. So overall, people did not even know she was coming out with an album with an
Yeah,
EP.
why couldn't that
How,
apply to Black women also?
however, I'm not saying I'm saying that the reaction of the Black women celebrating the flopping is because they're
No,
still annoyed by the
black
fact
men
that she
are
rejected them.
the Black men are the ones online dragging.
Well, black men is just Black men love when biracial women see themselves as Black because it makes it easy for them to be
Okay,
colorist.
so, but then Black people dragging her, Black men, Black women, some white. I saw at least one white man, but let's just exclude them. So it does feel odd to have this very specific carve out. Like it feels like there is a feeling around Black women's engagement with Tyla that you have, and then you take that as true and then justify every other engagement with Tyler by every other group
I feel like
separately.
you're misunderstanding me. No, absolutely not. I am mainly like, if there weren't such a happiness around her flopping, which a lot of Black women made themselves the face of the people who are happy for her doing bad. The
No, Black
face of
women
that.
aren't the face. Black men,
So
I've
what,
seen
Black men
more
and Black
Black
women? I'm
men.
sorry, both.
All right.
Sorry, like I mean, I keep switching from Black women to Black men, but I think both. Like it's made again. It's also
Yeah, but
possibilities.
they're not the only people in the community, the society. So like even if no Black women bought an album, other other people could buy the album. And I don't know this is a fact, but I'm pretty sure if we look at the breakdown of who bought her album, Black women probably are still at the top of the people who actually bought, right? So like even if some Black women are online claiming a right to how they made her fail, any logical person would know, well, you actually, even if you had that power as a gatekeeper to like promote someone, you're not the reason she failed because other people in larger group exist and she was also promoting to them and they also didn't buy the album. So you can't take ownership for her failure, even if you want to and you want to laugh and kiki because everyone make jokes on TikTok. But like there's a whole group of people in America, and no one bought the album.
True. Okay, so while you were speaking, I think I came to the realization that there's a chance that I only stay in Black spaces on social media.
Yeah.
So that's what I saw, because I really did not see any YT or anybody else, any other group, like making videos about, like, the people. I saw this one YT guy, he made a video about the EP not doing well, but that was after everybody had already said something. So to me, he was just like coming here trying to gain clout from a discussion that was going on within the Black community. So I mean, I don't know, I didn't take him seriously. Maybe it's because I stay in Black spaces. He That's why all I saw around the conversation were Black people, but particularly a lot of Black American women celebrating. And to me, that's the first thing that hit me. And I actually made a post on TikTok. It didn't go viral or anything, but it gained some type of popularity, where I was saying that there's no way Black American women have this much power, right? Because there's so many people who have always disrespected Black American women on the world stage, and we were never, we never successfully canceled them. And in the comment section, I got dragged because the people were telling me that, well, we are the blueprint, we have all this power, we do this and we do that. And I was trying to explain to them, like, okay, it doesn't seem that way. But so again, I get kind of confused in this conversation, because it's like, basically, if Black women in this country don't have that much power, I guess this conversation is literally just null and void. And I don't understand why anybody would even celebrate her not doing well, because that literally would mean that it doesn't matter if Black people in the US have power or momentum or whatever, they would have no real impact on her album sales. So literally, this conversation, I don't know if it should even be taking place if we don't have that much influence on if you succeed or not. So, like, do Black people in this country have that power?
No. You can be upset that people have animosity towards Tyla, and when she does not do well, people come out and celebrate. That's not a good thing, right? And you can be mad at that, but you don't get to tell people how to engage with their feelings about someone they believe either disrespect them, disregarded them, or engage with them in a bad way. So people are going to come out and talk. Now, if you want to defend her, telling a group of people, oh, you don't have any power, well, let's explain what I meant when I talked. Tyla wanted the Black audience. She did not
Did she want the Black audience, or she wanted the entire American audience?
She wanted the American audience, but she also wanted the Black audience. And I'm talking about
Says who? Like, I thought she just wanted everybody.
She wanted everyone. She wanted Black people. Why is she on? So she went on Breakfast Club to get white people.
Did she call them and say, let me come there? Or do they say, hey, this new artist is blowing up, let us call her here?
So you think that the Breakfast Club begged Tyla to be there and she didn't want to be there?
I don't think they begged her.
It looked like Tyla didn't want to be there.
So, she didn't want to be there. I don't necessarily think they begged her, but here's the thing, like I was mentioning at the start, she went viral on TikTok.
No. Let me, because I let you speak uninterrupted for a while, but it feels like you have a conclusion and you're doing a reverse justification for your conclusion. Tyla was courting the Black audience. She was. I don't have to go further than the Breakfast Club. Right? Going on the Breakfast Club is you courting Black people or attempting to court Black people, right? That failure is due to the fact that Black people rejected her, American Black people, because they did not like the way she engaged. Regardless of why you believe they did it, there was a rejection of her, right? Now, she tried to appeal to other people, and they also rejected her EP. Now, we could say it's because of promotion or whatever. All of that could be true. But the EP didn't sell, right? So now people are discussing it. And Black people, Black women and men are taking ownership of them not investing. White people might be, I don't know, I've only seen 3 or 4 of them talk about it. They might be taking ownership of the fact that they didn't engage Asians, Native Americans, all of them. No one bought the album, right? If Black people are having too much fun with Tyla's name to go viral, we can critique that if you want. But to say that you know the reason why Black women in particular are talking about it feels absolutely absurd to me.
I mean, when did you feel like? I'm trying, like, I'm only focusing on Black people, Black men and women, because that's most of the reaction that I've seen. Do you think I'm like dragging it in some other area? Because it's
Yeah,
only based
no,
on the reaction that I've seen.
I think that there is an underlying resentment that I feel from you towards Black women in particular.
Oh no, not Black women. It will be if I have resentment, it will be all Black people. But sorry for cutting you.
No, you're fine. I cut you. It feels like specific to Black women, but even Black people generally, in that, why are you all celebrating? And it's almost like so I don't know that people should be celebrating anyone's downfall, right? Because one, this might not be a downfall. This might be time for her to redo her PR and then come back bigger and better than ever, right? And I wish that for her. I will not be invested until she gives me something to invest in. That being said, it does not make sense to then drag the Black community for power they have or don't have. But if you want to like drag us or other people for shamelessly dragging Tyla to get clicks or whatever, I think you can do that. That's fully your right. I think that is fully your right. But I would caution that you don't start making judgments broader than this about Black people.
Would you say that based on this like exchange, I started like overgeneralizing in some other aspects?
Your first couple sentences.
So can you like just
Black
tell me
people
exactly?
like new things until they don't.
Oh, okay, yes. So I mean, you think I'm fully like wrong about that?
No, I don't think it's a Black people thing. I think it's a human thing. But the way that you kind of typecast Black people in that way made it a specific critique of Black culture as opposed to human experience.
Mm.
Because then you would use that to tie to Tyla and how Black people are treating Tyla. But like everyone liked Tyla, and then no one bought the EP. Not just Black. It's not like Black people didn't buy the EP. It's like Black people and no other race of people bought the EP.
So you already mentioned this before, that my issue is not the fact that people didn't buy the EP. You don't have to like Tyla at all. I can see how she's off-putting to some people. The issue that I had is with the people celebrating her downfall, and I mainly saw Black people doing so, not other groups of people.
And you can critique that, but you should critique that knowing that this is a trend online and people are hopping on the trend, seeing how much wordplay they can get out of dragging her to go viral, right? And to get TikTok views or whatever view. It does not mean, one, they believe this fully, two, that they dislike her in the way that most people think, or three, that they are as invested in her success or not success as ever. It's the internet and people just click. And dogpiling, by the way, is trash. It's bad. And hopefully I add nuance when I talk about this, but I don't know that you can then say a large swath of people who are talking about this are doing it specifically for this thing. Or for this reason. I think a lot of them just talking to talk.
Like to get clicks and views and stuff.
Yeah, like no, a lot of them don't even care about a Tyla. I think most people don't care about a Tyla. I don't care about a Tyla. I care about an Oli and friends in this moment. And the Tyla topic is important to me when I did the video, specifically because I found it interesting that her team seems so trash. And I think she could do well because she has a basic voice, she can dance, and she has enough stage presence. She could do well, but it just doesn't seem like she cared enough about the culture she was about to engage. And I don't think you get rewarded for mediocrity in that way.
You
And I
say
checked out.
wait, sorry.
And I checked out.
Okay, that's fair. So that's another thing that I disagree with when people say the culture she was about to engage, and I don't know what people mean by that because everything about her is just so South African, and I just never saw her trying to appeal to like the American audience like that. So maybe I'm missing something, but it seemed
Why
like
do
people.
the American audience? She literally did an entire. She did an entire tour in America, like around the podcast. She went on Kai Cenat. She went on the breakfast. Like she was trying to be a part of the American like music
I
culture.
I did not articulate myself well. She appears to me like somebody who wants to do like I'm a piano and make it global. But some of the criticism that I see, which also kind of gets into the whole xenophobia topic, is these people come here and they want to steal our culture and make money off of it. And I'm just sometimes I get very confused with that take because it's like I see her, she wear braids. Braids is mainly African. She sings I'm a piano.
No, wait.
That's not what you're
Don't be
talking about.
specific. Don't be specific because yes, braids, whatever, all of that, yeah, African. She came here to sell something. You have to,
feel
if you are trading in goods or services, you are going to the group of people you're trading with and you're going to engage those people. Like, you're not going to be like, oh, this is what I got and I don't care if you like it. Oh, we don't like it. And you seem disrespectful. You try to sell it to us and now we're going to drag.
But what like Tyler never specifically like came out and like made the argument that you all are making for her. Her fans might have done it, which I don't think she's in control of what her fans are saying, like represent
No.
themselves.
What do you think was happening when she was collaborating with and working with Summer Walker, Gunner, Travis Scott? Like, I don't.
Wouldn't it be her American record label putting her with those artists, which again, did she
Okay,
come to
then
the US
fine.
and beg
You
those
don't.
American labels?
No. You don't get to do that. You don't get to separate Tyler the individual from Tyler the artist with the machine. It's one and the same. It is the machine that put her in the place that she is. It is the machine that
So
put
she
her
shouldn't have
in front of.
accepted that. She should have refused the opportunity.
I
Is
mean,
that
she
what
should have, could have, would have, but you can't separate her from what she did and say, "Oh, she did that, but she didn't really want to do that." I don't know. She might really want to do that. Like, okay, you
but
don't get to do that. That's not
I,
that's not a legitimate take.
I believe this is pretty brand new, and with the way she's acting right now, with like songs, I know you didn't listen to the EP, but she has a song called Mr. Media, where I think she's like trying to respond to the haters. So, with the way she's acting right now, I think she's kind of showing people that she has no interest with engaging, right? But at the time, I
No,
think
that's
she was
not true. She was just popping her ish that most artists do. She cares, and that like her bookings, all of that is about to go down. She cares deeply. Her EP needed to do well. Her booking is about to be tragic if this is what the argument is. Like, oh, I just did it to say F you to all of y'all because I don't care. No. No. That's not how none of that works. The reason Cardi B didn't put out an album for so long is because her price goes absolutely down for every kind of booking if her next album fails. Tyla and everyone in the music industry is fully aware of this. That was not an FU. They didn't put out an album, they put out an EP to test the waters, and the waters were rocky for Tyla. The waters very rocky for Tyla. We also know that her team has pulled back in terms of money because she came out online saying she had to do her own hair because of budget. So
Do you think they care, or do you all just want her to care?
Do we think? She said
Like I
she's
know,
gonna
no,
be
she
bigger
wants to
than.
make. I think she
She
wants to
said
make
she's gonna be
money.
bigger than Rihanna. She cares.
I I think she wants to make money. I think she obviously wants to gain popularity. But the way she's reacting, at least I don't see her backing out of whatever stereotype people think of. Like people think negatively of her, and I don't see her trying to fix that. So I just don't know if she really is willing to. If she's not willing to do the like what it takes to be liked by the American audience, I don't necessarily know if that's what she cares to do. So it's
No,
like,
she
you all want
cares.
her to
She
care, or do you
cares.
really
Whatever
think
she's
like she
gonna
cares?
do. Well, we don't know. We
You
don't
can't
know
speak
her
for her. We
personally.
cannot.
We
Yeah.
don't know her. Wait, we don't know her personally, but what we do know is her publicly. Publicly, she cares very much. There is no
By the
argument that she
interviews that
does
she
not.
makes.
There is zero argument that she does not care when she's making claims about what she wants to be in her legacy. She cares very deeply.
Oh, okay. I mean, her actions don't show that to me, but we'll see moving forward. I think this EP.
So you thought she just came to the US and was like, I don't care if they like me or not. I'm just going to stay here and go to
That is
every
not.
single interview and perform everywhere and go on like all these streamers platform because I don't care if they like me.
That is absolutely not what I thought. This is what I think. She was in South Africa. She had a viral song that everybody liked. American record label saw how much money they could potentially make out of her, and they got her here to exploit, make whatever money they can. And I agree with you. She doesn't have that, like her voice is not spectacular. Like she can dance, right? But the American record labels, they saw an opportunity, like they do with all these artists. They wanted to make money. They got her over here, and then they started putting her around all these people like Chris Brown and like all these
So you
artists.
don't
Like they
think she
started
wanted to make
pushing
money?
her.
You don't think she
I
wanted to make
I
money?
think she wanted, I think of course she wanted to make money as an artist, but I really don't think, even based on like her body language and how sometimes disgusted she looks in some of her photos, I think when she came here, she had a huge shock. She didn't know what she was getting herself. I think, okay, I'm not saying that for a fact. I
Oh
think she
wait,
didn't
so
know
you
what she
don't
was
think
getting.
she cared? You don't think she cared to
No,
try?
I think she wanted to make money. I think she wanted to gain popularity, but based on how she's acting now, I don't think she cares to put in the work to like get approval, right?
Oh, all right. So then that's why she failed. Because how dare you? Yeah, absolutely. How dare you? That is out of pocket and out of line. So you just came to make money? Absolutely
I
not.
mean, most artists do. That's
Absolutely
all they
not.
do.
I am glad. Yeah, I'm glad I didn't buy it because that is out of pocket.
I know you already gave all the money to Dr. Omar.
Imagine saying this. I'm going to Jamaica. I don't care about a Jamaican culture. I don't care nothing about no reggae or dancehall. I'm just here to make my money. I don't care nothing about these people. I don't care nothing about what they gotta say. My face stank because I don't want to be here. That's what you just said. But I want to make money here. Absolutely not. If you don't pack everything and leave, out. That's what you just said.
She wanted to. I think she wanted to gain money and popularity, and she did not know what she was getting herself into.
I mean, based on what you just said, she got what she deserved. I don't actually agree with you, but what you just said, she got what she deserved because that would be absolutely disrespectful. That would be so trash and disrespectful and degenerate of her. That would be diabolical.
That she just wants to make money and gain popularity.
Yes. To make money and make popularity without any care for the people that you are trying to make the money from. Yeah, that's
sorry, I never said she doesn't care for the people. I think her
She
priority
don't care about the culture and she doesn't care about anything and she didn't want to do this or she didn't want to do that. Yeah, that you essentially said she don't care.
So basically, if calling herself black instead of color, what was gonna take?
No, you are attempting to simplify everything we just discussed. That had nothing to do with her self ID.
Okay. So I mean, I thought we were just talking about the color comment. The other like
no, because what happened? Let me explain to you what you just did. You just tried to say, "Ain't nobody." Let me mute this. You essentially just try to say, "Ain't nobody have to assimilate to African American. We don't care nothing about none of that." She just wanted to make. No. Let me explain what you just said from my perspective. Now you can correct me. But what I heard you said is She don't care nothing about you American culture. She don't care nothing about the Black American culture or American culture like that. Actually, she was going viral, and companies wanted her, took her up here to try to make money off of her, and she didn't even want to be here. Sometimes what you said this verbatim. When you see her in picture, her face looks stank because she didn't even want to be there, right? And she just wanted to get money and fame here. And then I said, oh, okay, cool. So she got what she deserved, because that's absolutely disrespectful. And now you're saying that's not what you meant. So
Wait,
tell me.
no, that's what I mean. That's what I meant, but I was mainly focused, like, basically, I believe, right? I can't speak for her, but I think she wanted to be able to just sell her a piano, and she wanted to sell herself the way she was. She never wanted to call herself something that she never called herself before, like Black versus colored. She never wanted to not call herself colored. She never wanted to call herself Black, for example. And I can't really think of any other major example. For maybe, I don't know, if people expected her to maybe change her accent.
She didn't
I'm not
call
saying that for a
herself
fact. I
Black.
don't know.
No one, everyone said her accent was beautiful.
Okay.
She called herself Black though.
She did after the interview with the Breakfast Club, but she had already made people mad. And I do believe that if she really wanted to make it in this market, like the American market, she should have pushed in on that and call herself Black even more
But I
time.
thought you said there's no reason, there's no example of her caring. Her calling herself Black when she never called herself Black seemed like
I
her
mean,
caring.
that to me, what she did on Twitter was pretty much saying that, well, I'm gonna keep calling myself colored because I'm South African, but I know in America y'all want to call me Black, so y'all can do that. That's how I took that
That's
statement.
not what she said. She said, I am Black. I've never denied my Blackness.
But she said, I'm also
colored.
Irish and Indian and all these different things. So
Yes.
she basically told them what they wanted to hear and then took it right back. That's how I took that statement.
You're adding stuff in terms of her mind.
What do you mean? Sorry, elaborate, please.
You are telling us why she's doing what she did instead of explaining what she did. None of us can explain why. We don't have the why.
Yeah, I think I mentioned multiple times that that's just like the perception that I got from
Yeah,
her.
but every time you explain something, it's in defense of her against African Americans or Black people or whatever, Americans. But like, you are not grappling with the fact that it could mean that she wanted to pander to Americans.
I don't think she did, because she would be doing it if that's what she wanted to do.
Okay, so when she did it on Twitter, we just didn't buy it. You were saying
she didn't pander though. On Twitter, she didn't pander, not in my opinion. She basically said, hey, I'm Black if that's what y'all want, but I'm also Irish. Why would she add all those other mixtures?
Wait. Okay, what does "if that's what y'all want" mean?
Those are my words, but I think when somebody says,
those are your words.
Yeah.
That means that's how you interpreted her words. What
Yes.
does that mean?
To me, it's like, okay, if that's what y'all want to call me, that's fine. But I myself will never see myself as that.
She said that. No. She said that's what she is. She never denied her Blackness. She said, in America, I am Black. Not that in America, you call me Black. She said, in America, I am considered Black.
Again, I'm just telling you how I read it. Like, I know seriously, like,
no, well, there's no how I read it. What was actually written on the page is what I'm repeating to you.
What, like, when she started adding other mixtures to her identity, reminding people that, but I am also mixed with this and that, to me, she was pretty much taking back what she just said in terms of, I know I'm Black, but remember, I'm also mixed with all these things. Like, you see what I mean? Like, again, the fact that she started adding all those other mixtures to her statement, like, if she really just wanted to be Black, just say you're Black and let it go and pander to the people. But why do you have to remind everybody that you mix with Irish, Indian, and all these different things? So to me, yes, if she had just kept it to, I am Black, let's just move on, I would have said, yeah, you're pandering, cool, you want to make your money, you want to do what it takes. But
in South Africa, I would be classified as a colored woman, and other places I would be classified as a Black woman.
Mhm.
I am both colored in South Africa and a Black woman.
Mhm.
What part of she said I am black. What part of that is confusing in her Twitter message? In America, you can be mixed and apparently say you're black too.
It's her trying to appeal to two different audiences
Okay, so
that
pander.
pander to. Again, I feel
But
I
you
think if
just said
she
she's never pandered to black people.
I still think she's not interested. She's not gonna do again to me that was a PR statement, right? That was just there to calm the
Again, you
people
can't
down.
separate her action from her. That's all we got to go on.
Okay, so I still okay. Is it like what I'm trying to say is that I didn't think the statement was necessarily sincere. It was just to shut the people up.
Yeah,
But
that's you going into her mind.
okay, but you're saying just looking at it from a surface level, she was pandering to the people, telling them what they telling them basically trying to.
You said she's telling them what they want to hear. She doesn't necessarily believe it. That is pandering by definition.
Okay. Okay, so I guess I missed the point there. But I'm thinking, I think she did that once, in the hope. To me, that one time really barely counts if you're not gonna follow through. Because it's like if you mess up, if you do something messed up to me, and then, for example, you give me like a half a apology, and then your actions don't match that, I literally would not believe a single thing you say. But I see the point. I see what you're trying to I see where you're coming from. You're saying that she was pandering to the American audience, like to the Black American audience specifically. It's hard for me to believe that, considering the fact that she continuously um she continuously just I pretend acting as if she didn't care. She gave that one statement. It seemed like it was PR written. No emotion in it. I think she was just shutting out the people, and then she, moved on. But I see what you're saying. It's just based on that one statement. But I'm not buying. I didn't buy that at all. That's not what I'm going to use to say she's pandering, because she's really over here acting like, I don't know.
All right. Thank you so much, Alexis. I appreciate you coming up. Let's see if there's a comment for you. Thoughtful discussion. Conscious Fit, I appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. We successfully canceled Target. We sure did. We don't want Tesla. No further debate. The thing is, I want to see what she comes up with. I love your channel. Hey everyone. I appreciate
actually want
it.
to see that too. I want to see.
Trevor Noah could have helped. Everybody loves him. Everyone loves him. All right.
Can I also just add one last thing? And I don't necessarily think that you would disagree with that. There's also an aspect of misogyny in there, because I think Burna Boy should have been canceled the way Tyla is being canceled now.
Fully agree.
Yeah, okay. So I think you will agree with that, because she's a woman, so people go hard. But I think it's a lot of men, especially like the African Afrobeats men. Davido is really messy.
Burna Boy said we don't
have culture.
People don't have any culture or something like that.
Tysonet was very rude. Literally said, and he shouted, "Black Americans have no culture." That was very disrespectful. And somehow he can still make millions. But
wait, I thought it was Burna. My bad. Not me.
No. Both. Burna Boy said something, and Tysonet also said something.
Oh, that's wild.
So yeah. No. So okay.
But I can't cancel people I don't watch. So
I hear you.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Bye.
All right, Donna. Is it Donovan? Hello. You're muted if you're speaking.
I'm sorry.
Sorry. How do I
Can you hear me?
name? Yeah.
It's Donovan. Unfortunately, this is the best I can do. That's my son's name.
Oh, all right. Period. What say you?
Sorry. How are you? I
well.
actually just wanted to. Thank you. Great. I actually just wanted to say that a lot of people are very confused in a way, because they were trying their best to kind of pick one major reason as to why people don't like Tyla. But from what I've seen, it's not, I just want to say that it's not that Americans, especially Black American women, don't like her or other Africans, because I've seen a lot of other videos where people think that Americans, Black Americans in particular, are against Africans or other people of other cultures. That's not the case at all. People are upset at Tyla because of a lot of the things that Tyla was doing. Aside from the fact that even if it started with this whole I am not Black, I'm colored situation, she should have, she's old enough, she has other people that are experienced, they should have talked to her and told her, look, you got to get some PR, working on our side. And they just didn't do it. So for them to just ignore it, for her to ignore it, the way she's talking to all the American fan base with this whole STFU, you know what that means? Telling everybody to shut up. She has her say so, she has her ways. I get it, she's young, but you're not a little girl. You're young. You're not a little 8-year-old. Learn how to talk to people. Learn how to talk to Americans. Learn how to talk to the market that is paying your bills. And
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I agree. In large part, I think there was a kind of like confidence that she had at one point that was endearing. And I do think it started leaning into a kind of arrogance. And when you don't have skin in the game, you don't get to be arrogant, right? And so like when someone say, oh, this is an example. Oh, you're the next Beyonce, for example. You're like, oh, that's so nice. Thank you. I hope one day I could become like that or whatever, right? There is and maybe it's feigning the humility, but for Tyla, it just seemed as if she just accepted that she was these people's, including Rihanna, like she was their peer, and you weren't. And that's not
correct.
Bad. It's you have one hit that was amazing, but at some point, and like I don't know, at some point you were going to have to pay for the confidence that you have, right? Like people with confidence who do nothing are arrogant. Therefore, your confidence has to be predicated on the work product. And it felt terrible to watch someone who has so much potential just like squander it. And I don't know that the colored thing is the only issue. I think that you are right. That's one of many issues of like turn off. Like she done turn off the Rihanna fans. If you're a fan of Rihanna, you might not like Tyla. Like if you're a real true fan of Rihanna, you might not like Tyla because of how
I am a fan of Rihanna, correct. And you know what? And speaking of Rihanna though, Rihanna wasn't that liked by me in the very beginning. And I actually liked her Ponder Replay first single. It wasn't that. It was just the fact that Aaliyah had just died, and so the fans that were fans of Aaliyah, for example, they were kind of weary, they were kind of like, I don't necessarily know if I'm going to like Ciara, Ashanti, Rihanna. It was going to take some time because of the tragic situation that had just happened with Aaliyah. The fans, true Aaliyah fans, were very concerned that people were trying to replace Aaliyah, including Beyonce, including Rihanna, including Ashanti, including Ciara. So for the most part, and then a few other girls, but for the most part, they come into mind. And so they had to, think about it. They've been around ever since the early 2000s, that long, for them to put a name for themselves. And for Tyla to be literally brand spanking new into this game, and for her to already just act like she's the pop princess, for example, like you're not Britney Spears, you're not Rihanna, you're not Beyonce, you're not even Ashanti. You need to try. You need to try.
But even the Britney Spears comparison, which should have been like a moment of gratitude, became like her dunking on Britney, right? Or like pretending like you didn't just copy her whole outfit, right? So
right.
And by the way, each of these things on their own is sort of meaningless. But when a narrative about you being a diva, and that you are in a category that you're not in, it becomes a problem. And let's be very clear, she's not in these categories with these women. Like, let's be very clear. We're talking about the Britney. No. So I think that, unfortunately for her, she either believed her hype or her persona, who she is naturally, is someone that like truly believes in that hype. And or at least it comes across that way. And that's not bad necessarily if you're putting out good work. And I'm sorry,
Right.
and nothing in that EP
And
that
you're
was
right.
good.
Exactly. I didn't even follow water. I didn't know anything about it. I thought, oh, that's a little weird, but putting water in your butt to, splash it on. Hey, do your thing. It's a thing, whatever. People seem to like it. It works. Sure. Let it work. But speaking of divas, with that whole diva attitude, I think that she's been kind of maybe trying to sample even the divas of back in the days, like Diana Ross. Diana Ross had during the times that she was becoming big during her Motown days and in the 80s, Diana Ross could pull the diva off, very well. And then a few other girls could be quote unquote divas, even Patti LaBelle's and stuff like that. But we're not in those times anymore. We're in the times of streaming. We're in the times of
they had to earn that. That's not these
right.
women.
That's what I'm saying. They earned it through record sales. They earned it through, people had to push them. She has the UK pushing her, but again, we have social media where we're living in days where people can push themselves in a way, and it's not working for her.
Let's just point this out. She wanted to go on tour with one song, not her. Her team wanted her to go on tour with one song. They had to make up some kind of injury and cancel that world tour that they were trying to send this girl on with one song. This is delusion. This is literal delusion. Like one song, a bunch of, if anything, you should look to Swahili and realize that Instagram following and likes and looks don't translate into buying anything.
Right.
And
or
so,
Ice
no,
Spice or
she's
any
gonna
of
have to
them.
work for it. Yeah, she gonna have to
is
work
gonna have
for
to
it.
work for it. And that's just a shame that I get it that a lot of people she's working on looks, she's working on talent, she's working on her appeal. I get it, that's fine, but it's not just going to take just that. And because I see some people in the comments saying Diana Ross can't sing. I mean, maybe she can sing, maybe she cannot sing. I'm not going to say that, but it took so many years for people she had to go through a lot of hate before she was approved, got approved by so many people in her fan base back in the days. We are not living in those times anymore. We have this thing called cancel culture. And like somebody else said earlier, we can cancel Target. This is a corporation. Yo, we can cancel you. You are just but one chick. Okay. And you're not even American. And then you're trying to come up to this land and try to tell us what we got to do, that we got to check our history. I am so sorry, but no, we don't. You want our money. You need to do your history with us.
In fairness to her, she never said any of this were her delusional fans.
That's exactly right. Exactly. No, you are totally right. And to the other lady that was talking, because she said that she's only following the Black community, but you were trying to say, well, where are the white fans? With the other races? Where is everybody else buying her stuff? And it's like, yeah, I get it that you're seeing what you're seeing, but we must not forget overall that other people in this world exist. So I get it that the Black community, especially predominantly the Black female community, was the ones posting stuff on social media, making the videos about Tyla and the disrespect. But the reality is that the Black American community is the one that pulls the majority of the numbers when it comes to buying music, point blank, period. It is because I'm part of that, and I'm a Black American, okay? But
wait, sorry, I'm laughing because I think womanish needs to be blocked for this comment. I do. I don't think that womanish should be allowed to run amok in these comment streets. I don't think this is fair. I don't think this is right. I think this is violent, and I think she should go. I think womanish. Can you comment again so I can block you? Thank you. All right. Sorry, I just had to. She needs to be blocked.
Yeah, I mean, the whole, I mean, it seems like, I mean, all I said is Diana Ross because, Diana Ross is one of our very long Black Americans from the Motown times. I mean, you're talking about one person that just came out, out of the ground, peeped their head into see the sun for a second, and somebody else has been around forever. I can compare that because of the fact that they're both female artists. They're both singers, and they're both making it out in this world as that. That's their job, right? So yeah, I actually can compare that. Outside of that, I'm not going to compare it because there is no comparison to Diana Ross and Tyla. Just like there's not a lot of other comparisons to maybe I'm not even going to mention her, but because then I might start something else. But the point is that a lot of the subjects that people are talking about, like how you said xenophobia and everything else, none of that matters because in the end, you are right. Tyla needs the Black American market as well as the American market, as well as the female market, the Black male market, the Hispanic market, the Caribbean market. And I'm speaking from a person who happens to be what they in Africa would consider colored. I don't call myself colored because I consider myself mixed because that's what I am. And I'm mixed in a lot of other things, just like she can be, I don't know, Indian, Irish, or whatever. I'm Caribbean, I'm Mexican. Yo hablo español más mejor que muchas personas de Americanos. I can speak it a certain way. It doesn't matter, but I still call myself Black because that's what it is. And even though Black has been stigmatized into this, way of people saying, no, you shouldn't call yourself Black, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. I'm an Indian. I am an American Indian, a Native American, real Native American, person. It doesn't matter. Whatever it is that I am, in the end, I can be a copper colored person. I'm an American, OG, Hebrew. My ancestors were Mayans and Aztecs and everything else. It doesn't matter. If you are a foreigner, so no offense to foreigners, I'm just saying, if you come from another place and you are trying to come to this land and get this American money and try to get a little, a piece of this American pie, you need to do your homework to appeal to our market because we're the ones copying up our mighty dollars to, make you famous, relevant, rich, what have you. So everybody who's African saying Americans are uneducated, they need to do this and they need to do that. We don't need to do anything. We were sitting here in America just fine. You came to this land, you came to our shows, you came to the Breakfast Club, you came to MTV. All that stuff is American. And for Tyla to try to get awards and try to make an American Black girl try to hold her, her award, I mean, maybe she was weak and stuff like that, but I mean, didn't she, our little redheaded Little Mermaid, didn't she just have a kid or something like that? We're gonna look at all those little things as, maybe you can't carry your own award, but I don't know. I'm sorry, but maybe your parents kind of should have told you a little bit of something, or maybe your promoters probably should have taught you how to talk to people, telling us to shut the F up. Yo, I mean, if you want to do that, but consequences to all of your actions. That's, there's consequences to your actions. And if you want to, when she got that award, what I didn't like, personally, this is what I didn't like about her, when she said, and I understood what she was trying to say, but at the same exact time, she had kind of already messed it up with this whole, we're, everybody's confusing, Afro beats and there's no separated genres. But at the same time, it's like, if there is no separated genres, why haven't you in Africa? Because this whole genre separation of the music situation, this is our Grammys. This is an American thing. Don't come to this land and try to tell us how to run our ways. If Black Americans want separate genres, Black Americans will do what Black Americans need to do to get that separate genre. Kind of like the way there's R&B, there's hip hop, there's rap, there's gospel, and so on and so forth. There's trap music now and just a bunch of other stuff. So the same way that she doesn't want to be kind of balled in together as Afro beats, she wants to be separated in the pop genre group. Yeah, okay, I understand. I respect that, because if it's not really Afro beats, if it's pop genre, you want us to just, accept that as truth, do something about it, show us, fight for it, work for it. Don't just tell us to, don't just tell us to go ahead and just accept you and implement you into our categories and the way we do things, because we've been running this whole music industry for decades. You just popped up 5 days ago. So that's what I want to say.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you being very thorough. Someone asked if your mom is Native American.
My mom?
Yeah, like who's Native American? Or Mexican, you said too?
My mother is Mexican and my dad's Caribbean, from a Caribbean island.
Oh, which one?
Rotan.
Cool. I appreciate you.
And by the way, and he speaks Spanish and English because it's British ruled. And my mom, being Mexican, had to look into all that stuff, because in my Mexican family, we have all races of all colors. We have white people, redheads, blonde, blue-eyed, green-eyed people. I got cousins that are darker than me, but with straighter hair than me. Mine's is just kind of curly, wavy. So it's such a mixture when it comes to Mexico. But there's so much history that is just basically erased within each personal and particular country, that a lot of Mexicans don't know their own history. So, a lot of Caribbeans don't know their history, because even though my father is super dark AF, he's considered legally Caucasian. And, there's nothing Caucasian about him. So only because it's British ruled. And they speak primarily English, but they speak Spanish because they have to for business wise. And,
there was this lady on my TikTok who told me she had like a French nose. Do you know what that means? Like certain kind of features.
I do know what that means. I personally, the only thing that's French about me is my name and the fact that I understand French. I don't speak it fluently. I just only understand it.
Sorry, I'm trying to not read the chat because you're out of pocket and I'm not reading it. So I appreciate that. I appreciate you for coming up.
I love all your videos, okay?
Thank you.
They're very awesome. Thank you so much.
Have a good one.
Have a pleasant day. Take care.
Sure. Team, if your chat is ignorant. Yeah, the chat ignorant. Wait, I'm laughing because I was on TikTok and this lady came up and she was like, no, I'm not gonna do it. She seemed like a sweet lady. I have 4 black. Someone asked if they can come up. It's been 3 hours and I do need to go, but let's go into the after show and then we can go. Thank you, caller. Yeah. I like when people represent their country and their the culture and things. Got the wait, why Well, you know, like that. The fact that I need to go pack right now is wild. The fact that we haven't gone through this video is nasty work, but guess what we're not about to do? We're not about to go through the video. All right, I need to end this and make it members only. So thank you all for being here. This is okay, here's the thing. Do not become a member to watch this video. Like, ain't nothing happened on this video. Let's be very clear. Ain't nothing happened on this video. And you know it was going to be members only. My Friday live stream was all public. If you need, I can leave this up for like until tomorrow morning, and then members only it. But like, this should not be public because the progressives online are struggling, right? And I want them to win. I want better for them in life, and so I just shouldn't be out here just dragging progressives or critiquing progressives because actually their ideas they connect with me and whatever. So like I don't want to be the one online dragging progressives, but like they just be talking sometimes to talk, and it's very annoying. They're very condescending and annoying. And I didn't know this. And when people talked about it and said they don't like when people identify as leftists and they don't like talking to those people, I didn't fully understand what they were saying until like I started watching Ole and Friends. Ole and Friends is a very specific kind of content that for me highlights the absolute worst parts of progressives. Like it truly does. And that's just it. And I do like Ole. Like this is not like even I like Ole, but the problem is they don't correct each other, they don't address each other, and it feels like they all have to kind of agree, and it's just like this really frustrating circle. I don't want to say the word there, but it's this circle, you know whating, and it's just not. It's just not. But I don't think they're. To be fair, importantly, I don't think they're doing politics, right? I don't think they're trying to build a coalition. I think that they are speaking to people who already agree with them. I don't think they have the patience to teach anyone anything, and I think they like hearing themselves talk. And so that's their content. Let them live their best life, and turn people away. It is what it is. All right. Thank you all so very much. I appreciate you. Do not become a member for this video. I will make it members only, and I'm going to try to figure out how to go live for members only on StreamYard, because I feel like it's unfair to make something publicly and then make it members only, because I don't want to like funnel you guys into membership like that. Because you're already paying for a bunch of stuff that we can't afford. So if there's ever a video you want to see, no, don't do that because I'm not going to read. Have a good one. Bye. Not this not working, not me clicking end stream and it's not ending.